mornings from 10 to 11. It's time to get up and get your day started.
Get up! Get up!
It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to Distillery in downtown Memphis. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
Welcome into Sports 56 Mornings on this Wednesday, July 22nd, 2026. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Jay Ham with you, broadcasting live and local from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. For all your summer needs, your year-round needs, from pools to patio furniture and so much more, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of Interstate 40. That is Family Leisure. Again, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Weather-wise today, already off to kind of a strange start. I don't see much of a chance of precipitation, but driving in today to the studio, it looks very dark out there. Looks like it could rain, but they say 4% chance of rain, and we're going to see plenty of sun later today. Right now it's 79. The heat index, though, 87. So there's still high humidity, but the high temperature today, 90. Which is a reprieve from yesterday when it hit triple digits, and the heat index was up to 115 yesterday. Pretty much the same the rest of the week, with temperatures again climbing by the end of the week into the weekend. We're going to be once again blazing towards triple digits. In fact, we got triple digits in the forecast for early next week. Hour number one of the program is brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery at 305 South Front Street in downtown Memphis. 150 years in the making, starting with the Canali family's arrival to Memphis. The revival began in 2017 when the doors opened to the public. What do they do at Old Dominick Distillery? They produce delicious Tennessee whiskey and bourbon whiskey, Honeybell citrus vodka, and Formula 10 gins. You can have it straight, or you can have them mix it in and put together one of those delicious cocktails that they make, award-winning craft spirits at Old Dominick Distillery. Swing by for a pregame cocktail. Celebrate your wins with a guided tour and tasting. More on that a little bit later on in the hour. Old Dominick Distillery. Come for the spirits. Stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. Coming up on the program today, it's day 3 of SEC Media Days in Tampa. It'll be a busy one. Ole Miss, Alabama, Florida, and Texas A&M. And our buddy Brett Norsworthy, very familiar with that Ole Miss football program. He'll be joining us from Tampa at 7:25. We'll put a wrap on the World Cup. It's over. Spain's a winner. Lawrence Dockery, our soccer insider, with his final thoughts on the World Cup and moving forward for soccer in this country. And then at 9:05, an old friend, Jay Phillips, will join us. He covers the University of South Carolina and SEC sports in Columbia, South Carolina. Is the co-host of the postgame show from 3 to 6 Eastern time on 107.5 The Game. He'll join us at 9:05. We got some baseball to get into. We got other college football news, and the NBA All-Summer League teams were announced. Good showing for the Grizzlies. We'll get to that in just a few seconds. If you want to hit us up on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines, you always have that opportunity. You can call in or text in at 901-360-8255. So there you go. That's your lineup for this Hump Day edition of Sports 56 Mornings. What's happening?
Not much.
Not much?
Not much.
Slow time, isn't it?
It's never a slow time.
It is. It's sort of a slow time. We thought last week, we always hear, and look, you've been in the business a long time. I've been in the business a longer time. And you hear always around the All-Star break. Major League Baseball All-Star break is when it's the slowest time. You have the ESPYs, made-for-television show, and you don't have much else going on. But we had a busy last weekend. We had the World Cup, again, every 4 years, but it was here in our country and in North America. We had the British Open wrapping up. We had the Summer League where the Grizzlies were playing in the championship game on Sunday. So it ended up being a very, very busy weekend. Major League Baseball, second half of the season started. And now NFL camps are starting to open up with rookies reporting this week. So it ended up being busier than usual. But right now, a little bit slow. A little bit slow. But it's going to heat up because we got football on the horizon. We got SEC Media Days. The American Conference Media Days is Thursday and Friday in that same area. Is it in Tampa or St. Pete that they have the American?
I'm not sure exactly where
But right in that region, right in that area where they have the SEC Media Days, and that'll be Thursday, and really Fridays when the coaches and the players make their rounds. And we're working on trying to have a guest for that as well. But right now, that's what you have. And then next week will be the Big Ten. We've already had the ACC. We've already had the Big 12. And then practice is open. The Tigers already announcing that their practice, let me look this up here, got the email yesterday. They will begin practice on the 28th. So Tuesday, the 28th is when they will begin practice. Remember, they can start to practice earlier than some teams, than most teams. Teams that are playing in week 0 get to practice a little bit earlier, so it's all evened out. They all practice the same amount of days, but they got to get started early because they're playing in week 0 at UNLV. So things will start to heat up and start to get extremely busy. Jay Ham, speaking of busy, how busy are you?
Trying to stay busy as best as I can, especially like you said, it's slow. So I just try to find content to keep my mind fresh. I'm over here right now with my tablet on some old SEC football from 1996.
Look at you, man, the historian.
Oh, yeah, got to keep it fresh, you know.
I love the fact, though, that, and I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, especially when you're getting older like I am, when September hits, maybe late August, and football starts, you turn around and it's already January or February. And in basketball, continuing through March into early April. It goes so fast.
And the cycle continues because it's like once we get to spring and March and NCAA tournament, it's like, okay, now I'm gearing for NBA playoffs. And then after that, I'm gearing for right where we are right now.
Oh, it is the cycle. For 41 years I've been in the business, it's the cycle. But the cycle slows down in May, June, July. It slows down. There's things going on. Don't get me wrong. We got golf. We got college baseball in the World Series and all that. But things slow down. But football season, and Eli, I always say it's the anticipation each week. They play one game a week. Your team does well, you're ready for them to get back on the field. Your team does horribly, you want them to get back on the field because you want them to reprieve. You want that reprieve. You want them to make up for what they did the week prior. So you're counting down the days. And you're talking about the pregame stuff, the press conferences and all that. And then all of a sudden, there it is. It's game day.
Jay, have you seen the Bleacher Report ranking things that they were doing with the NBA?
I haven't seen it in the NBA.
They did the top 50 dunkers of all time. Ooh. And then I think it was yesterday they released the top 99 defenders of all time in the NBA,
God.
which we'll get into a little bit later, but you talk about that's a task. Trying to rank the top 99 defenders in NBA history.
That's an ultimate task.
It was
a task when I tried to do the top 30 back in 2017. Like that, just for 94 feet of life, that was a task. So I can imagine what all time is like.
God bless them. I don't know how many people were involved. I didn't even look at see how many people were involved, but they released their top 99, and I don't know what they're all doing there, but they're doing a various rankings. But they only went 50 for the dunkers, but they went 99 for the defenders.
Well, I'm sure you'll talk about it later on, but who's the number one dunker?
The number one dunker is Vince Carter.
Okay.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
He killed the dunk contest with one take. He didn't come back for another one. He didn't have any replacement dunks. All of his dunks were 50s except one.
It's hard to argue Vince Carter. I mean, Dr. J was the originator, in my opinion, but it's hard to argue Vince Carter. All right, speaking of basketball, let's start there. NBA Summer League over. The all Summer League teams announced yesterday, and Cam Boozer makes the first team from the Grizzlies. The other members of that first team, Braden Burries, who we talked about maybe was the best of those early guards that were taken in the draft. The big four, and then Burries was the fifth. Burries was sensational. Yaxel Lendeborg, public enemy number 2 behind Draymond Green for the Grizzlies now. But got to give him a lot of credit. He was terrific, leading the Warriors to that championship game win over the Grizzlies. He's on the team. Caleb Wilson who in his first summer league game, Bulls didn't play in NoCal or in Salt Lake City, and he, what 35 against the Grizzlies?
Mm-hmm.
Caleb Wilson's on the first team. And Malik Thomas, my guy, also on the first team. So again, Boozer, Burries, Lendeborg, Thomas, and Wilson. The votes coming from all 30 teams. What do you think about that?
Fine with it. I think I'm guessing they do a little bit of a slant towards the rookies because there's a couple of guys on the second team of the second-year guys who should have been first-team guys. Yegor Demin was probably the best player in Summer League. The dude was awesome in every game he played. He was the best player on the floor in every game he played.
He was great.
And Malawak was great as well. So I don't know if when they're voting, they kind of give the slant towards the rookies because it's their first thing, and they kind of reserve the second-year guys for the second team. But, I mean, Yegor Demin was awesome.
Well, Yegor Demin, as you mentioned, Kaman Malawak, Liam McNeely, Zion Pullen, and our very own Cedric Coward on the second team. So
former Grizzly Zion Pullen.
That's right. But that's a good showing for the Grizzlies with Boozer first team and Cedric Coward second team. But again, you expect that. Boozer, number 3 overall pick, already seasoned beyond his years. And you expected him to have a big summer league, and he did. And remember, they shut down DeBonsa early in Washington. I'm not sure how many games Peterson ended up playing. And then Coward, who had a couple of off shooting games, but for the most part was terrific. He was terrific in the championship game. And you expect that. Again, those two guys will be starters. I wonder how many teams out there that played, and all 30 played in the Summer League, had two guys that started for them in Vegas that are starters coming up this season for that team.
I'll guess and say none.
I'm guessing,
Memphis.
yeah. I'm guessing nobody except Memphis. So you expected the Grizzlies to be as good as they were, and you expected them to have some representation on the all-Summer League teams, which they did. So no surprise. No harm, no foul. All good. All good.
Again, those players should stand out at the Summer League. I mean, you look at the most of, especially those second-year guys. I mean, you'd certainly think second-year guys should stand out if they're legit NBA players at the Summer League.
Mm-hmm.
And then those rookies, I mean, those are, you know, other than Malik Thomas, all lottery selections. So, yeah, it's you hope those guys will stand out at the Summer League.
Today, SEC Media Days, Day 3, Ole Miss, Alabama, Florida, and Texas A&M. It's been a build-up since Monday, and today there should be a lot of fireworks. Tomorrow, maybe the most fireworks with Lane Kiffin making an appearance as the head coach at LSU. But with Ole Miss and Alabama, Florida on the comeback trail with John Sumrall, Texas A&M expected to be one of the top-tier teams. Should be a great day. We'll talk with Brett Norsworthy in about 10, 12 minutes or so as he'll join us once again from Tampa. Speaking of college football, I saw this note yesterday, and I know that Kirby Smart spoke of it. Georgia running back Dante Dowdle was involved in an ATV accident and is being treated for serious injuries. He is a transfer from Kentucky, not expected to be the starter, but is expected to be a prominent backup running back, getting a lot of PT. That status, again, I don't know anything more than serious injuries. But again, with Georgia, cars and ATVs and anything with wheels, my gosh, whether they're being pulled over and arrested for speeding or crashing ATVs, I don't get it.
They don't drive very well in Georgia.
I mean, apparently not. I mean, I don't know the circumstances, but certainly wish the young man well. As they continue to jockey for position with the Protect College Sports Act, from the Cruz Cantwell politician point of view, and then the Greg Sankey, SEC, and other powers in college football, their point of view, which again is still, we're all on the same page. We want something to happen. We need legislative help. But we know that it's not jiving right now. There are things in there they don't want. Like I said, Sankey might as well write it up himself. But yesterday, Tommy Tuberville making his presence felt. The former college football head coach, including a stint in Oxford at Ole Miss, sent a memo to Republican legislative directors yesterday urging GOP senators to oppose the PCSA and support his bill. That is basically a simple bill. Limit eligibility to 5 years, which we got right now with the 5 for 5, and then one-time transfer. That's it. No bells and whistles, nothing about lack of being able to expand, nothing that prevents breakaways, even though we're certainly hoping that that doesn't happen, nothing about any financial restrictions, rev share, any of that stuff. It's a simple bill. I don't know if that will end up being passed. I don't know if that's enough. The other one goes too far. Man, it'd be nice to meet right in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, Tuberville's been talking about this for quite some time. We've talked about it before. I mean, this is the things that he's just focusing generally on the things that they want. Like these are the ability to enforce the rules, and really the one-time transfer is one of the biggest things, especially from a coach's perspective. And then getting the 5 for 5 in place. And there's not much there that anybody in any conference or anywhere will dispute. Like these are things we want. The ability to enforce the rules and getting it to a one-time penalty-free transfer, and then get the 5 for 5, which again, they've passed, but we'll see if that is actually enforceable or not when it comes down to it. So he is, this has been his thing all along. They don't need all this other stuff. All they need is these simple things and the ability to enforce their rules.
World Cup final numbers are in. 61.5 million viewers combined between Fox, Peacock, and Telemundo. So the numbers, huge, as expected. It is the most watched soccer telecast ever in United States history. Now, what does it mean? Will it have sustainability? We'll talk with Lawrence Dockery at 8:30 about that and so much more as we put a wrap on the World Cup. I also asked him to put together the all-time best starting 11 in his mind. Not one team with their 11, taking bits and pieces from different teams over the years and put together your best 11 soccer team. We'll do that later on in the show. There continues to be fallout from yesterday's latest layoffs at ESPN. Now, the suit's basically saying that things needed to be done with the addition of the NFL Network. So they needed to cut salary. And then, of course, Pat McAfee is getting it left, right, and center because of the reports out there that he's going to earn $60 to $65 million a year. And so some of the casualties we talked about yesterday included 33-year veteran Carl Ravitch, Ryan Clark, longtime SportsCenter host David Lloyd. David Lloyd, I think, was there the longest of all the current guys up until he was let go yesterday. Tom Pelissero, Stephania Bell, Bart Scott let go, Cam Newton let go, Charles Davis out. Gosh, Charles Davis, one of the nicest guys ever, very good at what he did, very, very good. He's gone. So, again, people are losing their minds. And I just want to say, and I said it yesterday, it sucks. Anybody that loses their job, especially when they do their job well, which all these people did. Now, you don't have to like everyone, but they all were professionals. They all did their job. They all took it seriously. But they're not doing something to hurt the product or hurt the business model. They're in it to make money. And if they feel that paying McAfee that much money and paying Stephen A. Smith that much money, the two biggest names at ESPN, and having to lose other very good people is the right thing to do for their revenue model, then that's what they're going to do. They're not doing it to lose money. They're doing it to continue to be prosperous. So I don't know. People can feel horrible like I do for anybody to lose their job. Anybody, in my opinion, unless they did something that hurt the product or did something illegal. But you gotta understand. I mean, this is the world. This is business, and they're doing something to ultimately, in their minds, help the product. Now, some people may hate Stephen A. Smith or hate McAfee or hate them both, but they feel that they are worth giving them that type of money because they are bringing in those types of audiences, that they have that much response, that the sponsors are spending money on those two individuals and others. There's some other big names there. Greenberg's still big. Scott Van Pelt's still big, but they're not as big as those two. But that's part of the world of business.
Yeah, there's also businesses that are mismanaged and poorly managed and don't make right decisions.
I would say ESPN is not one of them. I would say Disney is not one of them. I could be wrong. I don't believe so. But anyway, you can certainly, both things can be true. You can hate it, which I do, for those guys and gals to lose their jobs, but also understand where they are coming from. Will it work out in the long run? I don't know. Maybe it won't. But
and the way they went about these are horrendous. So they're not exactly great at managing that part of it for sure.
That is terrible, and that's always been that way. They've always done stupid things like that. The way they let Ryan Clark go, they've done that poorly. But as far as the model for making money, being prosperous, being successful, they've done pretty well. Also doing pretty well is Old Dominick Distillery, because of you, because of people around the country who are now catching on to what Old Dominick is about, producing that Tennessee whiskey, bourbon whiskey, the Honeybell Citrus Vodka, the Formula 10 Gin. And now Old Dominick Distillery invites you to have a sip of Memphis, discover downtown Memphis, and raise a glass to the city's history with free distillery tours through September 7th. Locals and visitors alike can book a free tour of Old Dominick's downtown Memphis distillery, where you can learn how award-winning spirits are made from grain to glass. All you need to do is go online to olddominick.com. There are restrictions, including guests needing to be 21 or over. You have to have a valid photo ID upon check-in. Tours are limited to 15 people. So if you have a group, it's limited to 15. But you can check out all that information online at olddominick.com. Old Dominick Distillery, come for the spirits, stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. When we come back, we head down to Tampa for a third straight day, as we'll check in with Brett Norsworthy with SEC Media Days. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You have opinions?
I think it's over.
Of course you do.
I don't think it's that simple.
Everyone does.
I got all the answers.
Hit us up on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line at 360-8255.
If wedding bells are in your future, you need an unforgettable engagement ring from a jeweler you can trust. And that's been James Gaddis Jewelers for over 60 years. With a huge selection and the best prices, James Gaddis is a master jeweler and diamondologist. Beautiful jewelry from James Gaddis is always the right choice. Choose from rings to earrings, necklaces to bracelets, and gemstones to watches. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar, online at GaddisJewelers.com and Instagram at Gaddis Jewelers. Say I do at James Gaddis Jewelers.
Some things can steal your sunshine.
Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken.
Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Too many families face a widening gap between what they can afford and what they need to thrive. More than half of families in the U.S. today are one paycheck away from financial crisis. At Good 360, we deliver hope when families need it most, providing essentials like clothing, hygiene items, and household goods. Put help within reach. Learn more at good360.org.
Listen up, Rebel fans. Your next winning drive starts at Landers Ford in Collierville. Their game plan is simple. Find you the most savings possible. Make a trade, lower your payments, or let them buy your vehicle even if you don't buy from them. That's how you keep moving the chains. Just like the Grove on game day. Fans all across the Mid-South keep coming back to the #1 Ford dealership in Greater Memphis. See them today in Collierville or online at LandersFordMemphis.com. When you own a Landers Ford, you get the support of a certified service tech with the Landers Ford Remote Service Experience Program. They pick it up, drop it off, or fix it on the spot, so you're never left watching from the sidelines. To finish the drive, the iconic Landers Easy Pass always brings more for your trade and the biggest discounts to put you in victory formation. And now, straight from the 1977 Ole Miss football team that took down #1 ranked Notre Dame, the final snap of the day from Landers Ford President Don Kitchens.
If it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
As reported on Ford's 2024 Total New Vehicle Retail Sales Report in Memphis Market.
Coming up on Back Porch Sports.
We'll take another deep dive around the SEC as we creep closer to the start of football season. We'll also be joined by David Epps, the new CEO of the Peach Bowl. He's going to discuss his new job and how that game remains a linchpin for the college football playoff while maintaining its long ties to the Southeastern Conference. All that and more Saturday morning. Be sure to join us.
Back Porch Sports, Saturday mornings at 10 on Sports 56 AM and 98.5 FM.
Sports 56 traffic.
Volume in the last few minutes coming up through South Memphis right now. 55 going northbound as you work your way up to Brooks, Elvis Presley. Lots of radar already out here this morning, especially in certain parts of Arkansas coming down I-40. Before you get into West Memphis, watch your speed. Lots of radar expected all week long. Hey, don't let a slipping transmission make things worse on your car or truck. Having transmission problems? Let them check out your vehicle today at Amco Transmissions. 2 locations to serve you here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck, you're on time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery in downtown Memphis. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
727 here in the Family Leisure Studios. We're going to head down to Tampa in just a moment for Day 3 SEC Media Days, with Ole Miss being one of the teams on hand today, with Alabama, Florida, and Texas A&M. Our own Brett Norsworthy is down there. And our coverage from SEC Media Days is brought to you by Bangers Pickleball, Landers Ford in Collierville, Sissy's Log Cabin, Jason's Deli, First National Bank and Trust, Jim's Place in Collierville, Gould's Salon and Spa, Ronnie Grisanti's in the Regalia, All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, Jimmy McElroy and Associates, and Capitol Grill. And Brett Norsworthy joining us from Radio Row in the Marriott in Tampa. And Brett, the Athletic did their college football quarterback tiers for this year and rankings. And now some of these they've got to guess, but they ranked every quarterback from 1 through 138 in college football. Number 1 on their list is Trinidad Chambliss. Do you believe Trinidad Chambliss is the best quarterback in college football this year?
Eli, I do, and good morning. I just joined a show in Mobile, and we got 2 predictions, and it's that time of year, and I got to my SEC predictions, and I will later, today, and I will consistently up to the season starts, and I have Ole Miss winning the national championship with Trinidad Chambliss winning the Heisman Trophy. So wow. I do think he is the number 1 quarterback. And they asked me, how fairly aggressively, you cover the team, you work for the team. Doesn't it look like you have some bias? And I said, well, did you watch college football last year? Did people see what he did? Did people see what he did all of the year and what he's got behind him with Kwan Lacey, what he's got in front of him with the center and 2 guard? I call that the most physical aspect of all of college football, and what the talent he's got around him at wide receiver with Deuce Alexander, the defense he's got to get him the ball back, schedule difficult, of course, in the SEC, but SEC quarterbacks have won the Heisman Trophy before. I know it's just so foreign for everybody to think of Ole Miss in these terms, and that's why I asked them, if you watch college football, who do you think is better returning than him last year? Now, I do respect the Athletic going 1 through 138 because I've let y'all down a little bit. I'm really hung up. I've got my ballot to vote for SEC, and I don't know any of these deep snappers.
Well, I'll say that. Go ahead, Eli.
Well, I hope y'all aren't disappointed in me.
If Trinidad Chambliss is the best quarterback, certainly he's one of the best. I mean, I guess there'll be people that make arguments for Dante Moore and Arch Manning and C.J. Carr and others. But again, when you combine that with Kewan Lacey in the backfield, certainly that combination, I don't think anybody could argue would be the best in America between those two. I mean, Kewan Lacey is clearly one of the best 2 or 3 running backs in America, and if Chambliss is one of the 2 or 3 best quarterbacks in America, that combination, there's no way anybody's better in the backfield.
I wouldn't think it, and that's what the defense has to choose. Do you play up close to the line of scrimmage to kind of pack the run? And if you do, then Trinidad's going to beat you over the top. One of the plays of the year, and there were so many last year, Mississippi State scored to get the game to 31-13, about 12 minutes to play. Kicked off to Ole Miss. Ole Miss got a penalty, so it was like 1st and 10 from whatever it was, but it was a big penalty right after the kickoff. First play, kind of an out pattern, nothing. Next play, 88 yards to Deuce Alexander, longest pass for a touchdown in Ole Miss football history, and he just flicks it. He throws the deep ball. I think he throws the deep ball as well as anybody that's ever been quarterback at Ole Miss, and we know the names that have been there. And somebody, well, what about this one? We all know the names of quarterbacks at Ole Miss. I think he throws the deep ball as well as anybody that's ever played quarterback there.
Well, let me say this. First of all, you are going to be honest, and I know that you're not a homer, even though certainly you want Ole Miss to do well and your relationship with Ole Miss, what you do as your, I guess, side job. I think you're very honest in when you pick something. So you're not doing it just to pick because it's Ole Miss. So you really believe that. That's number one. Number two, you rattled off a bunch of different guys that are going to be big helps to the Ole Miss winning, aside from Trinidad Chambliss, aside from Kewan Lacey, because that's what I was going to ask you. What are they losing, especially with those that went with Lane Kiffin to LSU? But I think the better question is, and playing devil's advocate, is how much are they losing with the mind of Lane Kiffin leaving Oxford if they're going to go win a national championship? Do they have enough in reserve?
They're losing a lot, but I think they do. To the second part of that, and they're losing, I think, the best game day offensive coach that I've ever been around, up close. And the game plans are beautiful for Coach Kiffin, but in game, the adjustments, I mean, he can see 2 quarters ahead, 3 plays ahead. He really can adjust in a game about as well as anybody I've ever seen. And he also had a great lieutenant in Charlie Weiss. But Pete Golding, he knows his prowess is on the defensive side. So let John David Baker, who was instrumental in the offensive room, coming up through the ranks, he's back, and there's plenty of, great analysts and technical support. And Joe Judge, a real key. I do not want to diminish what Lane Kiffin did, because what he did for Ole Miss, I will always appreciate, and clearly showed that greatness is definitely in him. But Joe Judge was instrumental in getting Trinidad to Oxford and working with him last summer, amping up for the year. I remember joining y'all on the Friday morning of opening day last year, and as an aside, I think I can't remember which one of the two of y'all asked, but who's the backup quarterback? And I said Trinidad Chambliss. Never dreaming he would go into that. I thought Ole Miss was in great shape last year with Austin Simmons, because about anybody Lane Kiffin puts out there at quarterback, and Joe Judge has worked with, and Charlie Weiss, they're gonna be really good. It's at the top of the craft what they can do on the quarterback offensive side. And then along came Trinidad in that Arkansas game that needed a defensive play at the end of the year, to create a turnover. The biggest, fairest skepticism of Ole Miss going into this year is can they win that many 50-50? I call it fortunate. Some call it lucky type games. Last year just went on a roll and finally, crapped out in the Fiesta Bowl, roll 7, and the stick man pulled the dice his way late in the game against the U, and ball was in there. Deshaun Stribling had his hand on the ball, and it was not pass interference. And candidly, Miami was better. They deserved to win.
If you are correct, and certainly he has a very good chance at, again, he certainly is a Heisman Trophy contender. I think he's like got the 3rd best odds, something like that. If he goes from, Division II to Heisman Trophy in a couple of years, it's one of the great stories of college football history.
It's when Michael Corleone looks at him and says, the papers will like this story. and I think the papers will like this story about Trinidad. I thought he should have gotten a lot more attention last year. It's very Doug Flutie-esque. He's not as small as Flutie was, but he's got that power, input like Doug Flutie. And there was a game after a game last year, and he'd started establishing himself in post game with Lane. I said, he's almost like one of those big time great NBA point guards, that Chris Paul type, that Brunson type, that when he has the ball late in the game, get out of the way. He's going to make something happen. Now, one of the real questions around Ole Miss is all those receivers from last year. After you replace, you have to replace Harrison. You have to replace Deshaun Stribling. Stribling's going to help the 49ers. Ole Miss thinks they've got them lined up. We didn't know who those guys were this time last year, and now we got to learn about these guys this year. But it starts with Deuce Alexander and it tied in what Ole Miss has returning there.
Well, you got to figure that hotels from Jackson up to Memphis on the night of Friday night, the 18th of September, have to be sold out for that 19th of September, as everybody knows.
2-night minimum, Greg. 2-night minimum, not just 1 night.
18th and 19th, they stay after the game. But my gosh, I can't wait for that. I know you can't wait, and thousands of others can't wait. That's the one, even though you look at that schedule, as you said, it's formidable. You got to go to Texas. You get Georgia at home. You got to go to Oklahoma. I mean, there are some tough games, but that LSU game on September 19th sets the tone.
It does, Greg, and so many people are talking about that game and not just the 2-night minimum, which you have to love. If you don't believe in supply and demand and market capitalism, is that hotel room and kind of along that whole stretch that you can get tonight for $85, 2-night minimum that weekend for about $750.
Right.
They got them. You want them. That's what it's going to cost. But the week after, for both LSU and Ole Miss, everybody talking about September 19th. The week after that game, the season doesn't end that day.
No, it does
not. The week after that, Ole Miss goes to Florida, and really since the Tebow upset, it's been a haunted house. 2015, Ole Miss got the Will Grier game down there 2 years ago. I think on the way to the college football playoffs and making a lot of noise, maybe winning it 2 years ago, go down there and just lay one of the bigger eggs and one of the most soul-crushing losses ever to the Gators in Florida. And Florida wasn't that good 2 years ago, but still got the win. And LSU, they turn around the week after, and they have to host A&M that humiliated them last year in Tiger Stadium, quirking the schedule, a lot of same games this year, like LSU having to play 2 years in a row in Oxford. Well, they get A&M 2 years in a row. A&M emptied out Tiger Stadium in the third quarter, and Brian Kelly got the walking papers the next day.
Well, speaking of Texas A&M, they are one of the other teams that is on hand today, and another team that certainly has some very high expectations after the year they had last year. They returned their quarterback. They returned a lot from last year's team. Where do you think A&M falls this year?
A little slippage because they have to replace 4 out of 5 in their offensive line. And we know now we just don't have the continuity. We don't have the symphonies you have to have in offensive line play, especially early, that we used to have, because there's just nobody enjoys any depth. Used to in college football, you'd want about 7, 8 guys to play 5 spots. I don't know many that have that now, and you sure don't as the year goes on with injury. So I think A&M backs up just a little bit this year. And Marcel Reed, they're talking about making him more of a pocket passer. when I watch him play, I think he's better improvisational, better when run pass option. I don't know about putting him back in a 7-step drop and throwing off that back foot and fogging around 35 or 40 times. I don't know if that's best for him, but Mike Elko has done a great job. A&M wanted adult supervision over their football program, and I think they have it.
At least they get Texas at home after their only blemish during the regular season was to Texas in Austin. But that schedule at LSU, at Alabama, they got some really big, heavy hitters. Then again, we could say that for every team in the SEC, but it's not going to be easy to try to maneuver through that like they did last year up until the Texas game.
We'll be able to at the end of the year, but before the year starts, find me an easy schedule in the SEC. It might be Georgia. That might be the one that, that's softer than
right.
That's softer than everyone else. Everybody else, it's the same old teams every single week, and just where's the break coming from? But I don't want that to be an excuse for the SEC at the end of the year. I'll join y'all. Y'all see me. People will hear me. Ole Miss comes up short. I'll be here to account for it. But I don't. If we have that logjam that I thought would happen last year at 9-3, a bunch of 9-3s, if we have that this year and they're left out, I don't want to hear the complaining, because it's been past time to go to 9 games. If for nothing else, the consumer, the fan, the ticket buying public, they deserve to get that instead of FCS slop.
Absolutely, 100% with you.
Alabama's on hand today. They've got to replace a lot, especially on the offensive side of the ball. How good can Alabama be offensively?
I think they're going to be more than adequate to really good. And Eli, every year we know there's somebody that emerges that we have not talked about all week up and down these hallways. Heck, I'll admit it. I'll confess. The summer of Johnny Manziel, before he burst on the scene, I was pronouncing his name Manziel. We didn't even know who he was, except for the laptop incident at Florida. We largely didn't know who Cam Newton was. We didn't know who Blake Sims was the year before Lane and Coach Saban turned him into the Offensive Player of the Year at Alabama. For that matter, we weren't talking about Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels and Heisman tones. They were good the year before, but then the years that they've had. And last year, if I'd have walked down through here and said, yeah, we got to back up from Ferris State at Ole Miss that's getting ready to knock everybody's eyes out, named Trinidad Chambliss, I'd have been laughed out of the place. Might get laughed out next year after saying Heisman Trophy and National Championship for Ole Miss, but okay. But there's always somebody that emerges, and that's going to be Keelan Russell at Alabama. I don't think he played enough last year, but I was told during last year that offensive line was so bad that they didn't even want to bring him in for packages and to spell Ty Simpson a little, because that he would may have been wrecked with that offensive line, because last year Bama couldn't get 4th down and 1 inch. They would bring in jumbo package. They would do everything you could in short yardage and just couldn't run the ball. And the rushing totals every week. I mean, you'd look at, the other team, 142 yards, Bama 81.
Right.
I mean, they just never could win a rushing battle last year. Ty Simpson really got a lot out of a pretty average team last year.
Yeah, and that's why he was taken in the first round by the Rams. Yeah. They have a lot of faith in him. It's weird because, and you know this, Alabama very, very well. There's not too many programs out there. You can look at a season they had last year and go, okay, they made the SEC championship game. They went to the playoffs. They won a playoff game, and it was still kind of disappointing because they got absolutely steamrolled by Indiana, as did most teams. But for Alabama, it's almost seems like it's win or bust, win it all or bust.
Well, it is, and famously in their fight song, the lyrics, remember the Rose Bowl will win then. Well, the last 2 Rose Bowls have been just nightmarish. That against Indiana, even the Michigan loss in overtime when Milroe didn't know where to go or called went the wrong way, had the wrong play. Those last 2 Rose Bowls have just been horrific for Bama. And that game against Indiana, we all watched. It was early in the day. I hadn't gotten busy yet, for the Sugar Bowl that night. We all watched it, and we knew in real TV watching time, 40 minutes into the game, this is going to be a massacre.
The Florida Gators on hand, new coach, obviously, in John Summerall. DJ Lagway is now long gone. It never worked out with him there. Coming off a 4-8 year, what kind of are the fair expectations for a year one with John Summerall?
can the Florida Gators ever be your lookout sneaky team? I mean, can they be just with their background?
Right now.
If they can, then that's mine. And kind of my national sneaky team almost fits that same model. Can USC really sneak up on anybody? But I think it's the year for Lincoln Riley to get them in the playoffs. But Florida's going to be a lot better this year. John Summerall, with everything that worked out, they were going to get a good one in Lane. I think Lane was leaving no matter what. It was either going to be to Florida, and then LSU popped up. I think he was just ready to go. Got the 6-year itch and had done a great job and was ready for the next challenge. But they ended up getting a good one in John Summerall. One at Troy, one at Tulane. I saw him twice in person last year, and Ole Miss just had more than Tulane in both of those games. But he's going to put proud representative teams out there, and he's a tough-minded guy. I can't say the whole quote, but when he was linebackers coach at Ole Miss for Matt Luke for 3 years, and just so much fun to be around, tough guy, guy's guy. He told me one time, he said, Brett, you know what the key to football is? He said, it's getting a guy around the head and getting him on the ground, and there was a lot more in that quote than that.
All right, so today, big day for you. You got the commissioner on, correct?
We do. We're going to have the commissioner of the SEC with us about 4:30 if everything's running on time. It could stretch into 4:35, but be patient. We're going to have him about 4:30 with us Memphis time. Boy, the Tampa Memphis time has really been catching me all week to catch up with people, but we look forward to it. And we're going to talk a lot of Alabama, a lot of Florida, a lot of Ole Miss, and a lot of Texas A&M. And then tomorrow, the Razorbacks and LSU will be here, the Bullies from Mississippi State and Arch Manning and the Texas Longhorns.
And, of course, Ryan Silverfield with the Arkansas Razorbacks making his first appearance at SEC Media Days.
Greg, I said yesterday on our show, I said I came to SEC Media Days summer of 2026 and American Conference Media Days of 25 broke out.
Brett, give a shout-out to all the great sponsors.
We have them, including First National Bank and Trust, and First National Bank and Trust, with its roots in Eastern Arkansas, is a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, now firmly ensconced in West Tennessee. Eastern Arkansas's largest independently owned bank, now in West Tennessee, with those great offices on Ridge Lake and out in Collierville. And First National Bank and Trust, they focus on their clients in the Mid-South for all their banking needs: personal banking, business banking, online banking, the mobile app. Courage and confidence has been on display at First National Bank and Trust throughout its proud history. In good times and in challenging times, they've been recognized as one of the most progressive banking institutions in the South. Commercial, residential, recreational. Customers depend on First National Bank and Trust because they know real estate and they know their customer. Contact any member of the team or call them at 901-498-5763.
Thank you, Brett. As always, great stuff. We will talk to you tomorrow.
You got it, man. Thank you.
Brett Norsworthy, you can hear him later on today. He's on with John Harden on Sports 56 Happy Hour. And then, of course, the co-host of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Bryant Dacus from 3 until 6 o'clock. I just saw on ESPN they were doing SEC as we were talking SEC. Jordan Rodgers, one of their terrific analysts, former quarterback, went under for the 8.5 win total for Alabama. If they go under 8.5 wins, how loud are Bama fans going to be? As well as, look, we know Kalen DeBoer's a good coach. He's a good coach. And following in the footsteps of Saban is impossible. But if they go under 8.5, even in a competitive league like the SEC, there's going to be a lot of people screaming.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
They just missed the playoff. They'll be screaming.
Yeah.
That's that Alabama assumes or feels they should be in the playoff every single year, especially with a 12-team playoff. They believe they should be in the playoff every single year, and they really don't accept anything other than it. I will say this: if
Brett's prediction
is true, and we go back-to-back national champions of Indiana and Ole Miss, you talk about like flipping the college football world on its head. If that's back-to-back national champions. So first it tells you exactly how much college football has changed and how we got to reassess everything in college football in this era. But boy, that would be crazy if that's your back-to-back national champions.
Yeah, on the surface, it seems like, man, that is an outlandish, crazy prediction. It certainly isn't outlandish with what Ole Miss did last year and what they're capable of doing this year. It sounds weird to hear that, but my gosh, it would be something, especially for this region of the country, where we're located, of course, a lot of Ole Miss fans, that would be something. And as Brett said, tomorrow is going to be a doozy to wrap it up. Lane Kiffin and LSU, Ryan Silverfield, Arkansas, Jeff Levy and Mississippi State. Of course, the players they bring along. Steve Sarkisian in Texas with Arch Manning there. It is going to be some kind of day tomorrow. Day 4, the final day of SEC Media Days from Tampa. And again, Brett will join us at 7:25.
Coming up in our second hour, we'll go through that list of the athletic and the quarterback rankings. We'll tell you where they got Memphis quarterback and their tiers. Again, they rank them in tiers, but also rank them within the tiers. And they've got Trinidad Chambliss as the top quarterback in the country.
You're tuned into Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Did you miss your favorite Sports 56 show?
No!
Check out the podcast, broken down hourly at sports56whbq.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to like and subscribe. Never miss any Sports 56 show again with our podcasts available daily from Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's time to get your backyard ready for the ultimate pool party with a little help from Family Leisure. If you've been sitting on the fence about taking the plunge with a pool, now's the time to take the dive. You want an above-ground pool? Done. Starting at $39.99, and that's with installation. You want an in-ground pool? Take your pick. They start at under $50,000. Accessorize that pool with a patio furniture set starting at just $9.99. Outdoor sectionals? They start at $12.99. In fact, all in-stock patio furniture sets are priced to move. And with select patio furniture sets, you'll get a free umbrella and base. Okay, you aren't looking to get into a pool just yet? Family Leisure has hot tubs that start at just $34.99. Get in shape or stay in shape with a swim spa starting at $16,999. Get your backyard, front yard, side yard, whatever, ready for fun. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. Do you know what Penny Hardaway and I have in common? We should both be in that building celebrating the best basketball players of all time. Of course, I'll have to buy a ticket to get in, but he should already be there. But seriously, we both surround ourselves with the best people we can find. We work hard to achieve our goals, and we are both among the best in our respective fields. At Fiveash, we can't win titles or get national awards, but what we can and do strive to do is give 100% of ourselves to give you the best product possible and one you can be proud of. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call at 901-367-0050, and we will do everything we can to provide you the best of everything. Fiveash Roofing. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
Mid-South, we've hatched a plan for fun, so get ready, set, and drive at Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike. Hey, you want great MPG? We Gossett at 40 MPG highway estimate. In 2026, Jetta S just $249 a month. Jetta S $249 a month. You want it, you love it, and we Gossett in 2026 Tiguan 2.0 TS. Only $269 a month. Tiguan $269 a month at Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike. Plus, take a good look at 2026 Atlas SE. We Gossett now just $329 a month. $329 a month for Atlas SE. You want it? We Gossett covered at Gossett Volkswagen 1875 Covington Pike. Online, GossettVWMemphis.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
36-month lease. Atlas TC 564,481. MSRP 41,911. Jetta TMO 312,217. MSRP 25,791. Tiguan TMO 43,763. MSRP 32,881. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must be financed through Volkswagen Financial Services. PF 895. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit offer in 73126. Dealer stock only. MPG estimate provided by EPA.
Hey, Sid.
Yeah?
You know what's coming to the Peabody Hotel, right?
What's coming to the Peabody Hotel? You have got to tell me.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool and amazing.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery in downtown Memphis. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
That's me in the corner. That's me in the spot.
Welcome back, everybody. 7:54 is the time. Hunter Goodman did it again yesterday. 8th inning, go-ahead run with a solo home run, his 31st home run of the season. He is 2 behind Yordan Alvarez and Kyle Schwarber for the Major League lead. His name is still out there as a possible trade candidate, although looking at some of the experts and how they break it down, they think it's about a 15% chance that he is dealt by Colorado. But we will see some names and some bigger names more than likely on the move here before the trade deadline. We'll see if it's Skubal, if Detroit is going to trade him. I still doubt they will, but there is that possibility. But Hunter Goodman on some kind of a streak. That 31 ties last year, right? He had 31 home runs all of last year and already has 31 home runs this year. Guy's absolutely, absolutely phenomenal. Did you see this story yesterday, guys? The Miami Heat's official YouTube channel. First of all, I had no idea that they had a YouTube channel. The Miami Heat's official YouTube channel had LeBron's introductory press conference scheduled for July 27th. Did you guys see this?
Mm-hmm.
Miami Heat introductory press conference for LeBron James, welcoming him back as a member of the Miami Heat. Wrong. Well, we think it's wrong. They pulled it down, and we move on as LeBron James still is not announced. But where there's smoke, there's fire? How are we looking at this thing?
I really don't have a thought.
It means nothing. I mean,
it looks like a ploy. You know?
I mean, was this just a absolute like blunder on their part, or were they told something and maybe he pushed the date and really it's going to happen?
Just an anticipated thing to get some attention, I think.
Here's what the
I think that's we accidentally posted it. It's
Right.
a way of getting some attention.
Right.
But I mean, again, all these teams are probably preparing for the possibility of if he does that you have this. But yeah, this means nothing.
I know.
It's not like LeBron's telling a team like, "Hey, I'm coming to you, but I'm not going to announce it yet. So you guys, you could get prepared, but stay quiet."
I know it's not like you need that much prep to throw something out on Twitter or put something on your YouTube channel to say, hey, here's the date and the time of the introductory press conference. Ooh, that takes a lot of work.
The fun part is figuring out what's going to be the one for tomorrow, because yesterday was Pat Beverly, then today we got the Miami Heat, and then we'll have another one tomorrow.
There's been a bunch of different players that have predicted, oh, tonight's the night he announces. Then I think he purposely is like, all right, they're gonna say publicly that I'm going to announce tonight. Hell with that. I'm going to hold off. Now, people keep thinking there's the whole August 6th thing with Anthony Davis, and what is that, the deadline for them to go max with? Explain that to me, because they keep bringing up August 6th, which is still a ways away. I mean, you're talking about a couple of weeks. And I can't imagine he's going to wait that long. I mean, he's already milked the damn thing for as long as he has. I can't imagine he's going to milk it for more than 2 weeks. What is that with Anthony Davis? That's the deadline that they could give him the max?
That's what he's extension eligible, I believe.
Okay, that's extension eligibility deadline is on the 6th of August. So we'll see. Team spokesperson, by the way, telling Shams Charania, this is the Miami Heat thing, the link was mistakenly published while preparing for a possible James signing. Again, you got to do so much prep to throw out, here's the time and the date of the introductory press conference. I don't know. Where there's smoke, there may be fire. Speaking of smoke and fire, delicious slow smoke barbecue. That's the Corky's way for 40 plus years and counting. That delicious slow smoke barbecue and everything else that goes along with it. All the sides, the cheese and sausage plate. Plus, if you want to go outside the barbecue family, they have an award-winning catfish plate. They got even burgers, tamales, great salads as well. It's all good. And they all serve it with a smile on their face. There's great people that work for Corky's, 4 locations in the greater Memphis area. Poplar Avenue in Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. They have catered their entire existence. You have an event coming up. It doesn't matter how large it is. They can take care of it for you. Let them cater it for you, starting at $7.99 per person. If you want your lunch or dinner delivered to your home or office, $3.99, local delivery. That's their set price at Corky's. They got lunch specials every day, party packs that start at just $7.99. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. You're tuned into Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Unlock your new go-to spot, Codes Dispensary in Steele, Missouri, just over an hour from Memphis. When you're ready for a legal, reliable option, they're right up the road. Explore the full menu of top-shelf products in-store and online. Short on time? Order ahead and cruise through the drive-thru for a quick pickup. Stack rewards while you stock up with Club Codes. Earn points for every dollar spent. Codes Dispensary, now open in Steele, Missouri. Supreme cannabis that's worth the drive. Learn more at CodesDispensary.com. That's CodesDispensary.com.
Memphis is a love song to soul and style. With the full suite of sought-after designers, brilliant natural diamonds, an elegant bar, luxury VIP lounge, and more, a trip to our store is an experience like no other. Just like the city we love. Stop by any of our stores or visit Sissy'sLogCabin.com and experience Sissy's for yourself. Memphis is our home, and we're your jeweler.
Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Hey, I've got Jason, the main man marshal, on the line from Gossett Hyundai on the Pike. What's up, my man Jason?
What's up, Randy? It's the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event, and we've got deals you won't believe. 2026 Hyundai Elantra SE, $316.01 a month. 2026 Hyundai Sonata SE, only $343.86 a month, plus 0.99 for 60 months and 1.99 for 72 months available. 2026 Hyundai Tucson SE, only $349.61 a month at 1.9 for up to 72 months or 0% for 60 months available.
And every Gossett Hyundai comes with America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty and the owner assurance.
Come see me, the main man marshal, where we're charging forward and charging less every day at Gossett Hyundai. 1956 Kona Pike, or visit online at HyundaiGossett.com 24/7.
All 36 monthly Sonata TA 582 for 47, MSRP 38,935, Tucson TA 743,800, MSRP 31,350, Elantra TU 165,979, MSRP 25,060, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax title license for approved credit. See for complete details. Offer valid through the monthly list.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors, and I may be Mr. Three-Putt and known as the worst golfer in town, but I do sell some houses for people. There are 7 keys to selling your home quickly for a really good price. First, call or email me to find out about my highly successful strategic marketing program that can help you sell your home quickly at a good price. I guide people what to do and what not to do to prepare to beat your competition. I mentioned 7 keys. Well, if you call me first, you don't need the other 6. Find out why people often say that when you want the job done, call Sheldon. I may be the horrible golfer that people talk about, but I don't fool around when it involves your biggest investment. I'm here to provide answers and good advice to help you. You can reach me at 483-0546 or email me at shellrose@memphisrelocate.com. That's right, relocate is in my name. That's shellrose@memphisrelocate.com or 483-0546.
It's time for SEC Media Days. Join Brent Norsworthy as he broadcasts live from Tampa Monday through Thursday, previewing the upcoming SEC football season and brings you interviews with players, coaches, and SEC insiders. Tune into Sports Time with Stats and Brian Dacus from 3 to 6, and also hear from Stats throughout the day for SEC Media Days coverage on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville, Ronnie Grisani, Sissy's Log Cabin, Capitol Grill, Bangers Pickleball, and Jimmy McElroy and Associates.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Despite a couple of EMS calls out here right now, traffic's still moving, but it's busy on Bill Morris 385 coming inbound as you get on that ramp there on the 240 passing Mount Moriah. Heavier traffic just in the last 15-20 minutes southbound. 51 out of Millington right now to come down through Woodstock. Hey, don't let a slipping transmission make things worse on your car or truck. If you're having any kind of transmission problems, let them check it out at Amco Transmissions. 2 locations to help you right here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with John Harden. Weekdays from 11 to 1.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Genuine diamonds, baby.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Hour number 2, welcome back. Welcome in if you're just tuning in. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Jay Ham, and a cast of thousands here, broadcasting live from the Family Leisure Studios on this Wednesday, the 22nd of July, 2026. Family Leisure at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. We're live and local every single day. Weather-wise today, right now 79, feel like of 85. It won't be as hot as yesterday when it hit 100. It's going to be 90 for your high temperature. Sunshine for the most part, although a very cloudy start to your day today. They say only about a 15% chance of precip. Tomorrow, even less, about a 3% chance of rain with a high tomorrow of 88 degrees. Hour 2 of the program brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. If wedding bells are in your future, you need an unforgettable engagement ring from a jeweler you can trust. That's been James Gaddis Jewelers for over 60. That's 60 years. With a huge selection, the best prices. James Gaddis is a master jeweler and diamondologist. Beautiful jewelry from James Gaddis is always the right choice. Choose from rings to earrings, necklaces to bracelets, gemstones to watches. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Online at GaddisJewelers.com. And Instagram at Gaddis Jewelers. Say I do at James Gaddis Jewelers. Open Monday through Friday 10 to 5, Saturday 10 to 4, closed on Sunday.
So I mentioned that the Athletic this is the second year they've done this. They've always done it with the NFL, and this is the second year that they've done this with the college quarterbacks, which is a little more difficult. One, you have to predict some starters, which isn't easy to do in some situations. And plus, you got 138 instead of 32 quarterbacks that you're ranking. But they rank every college quarterback from 1 through 138. They put them into tiers. They have 7 tiers of quarterbacks. The first tier has 8 quarterbacks in it. And as I mentioned, they've got Trinidad Chambliss at number 1 in that first tier. Dante Moore is second. C.J. Carr of Notre Dame is third. Darian Mensah is 4. Julian Sand is 5. Drew Mestemaker, the North Texas transfer who's at Oklahoma State, is at 6. Arch Manning doesn't come in until number 7 on their list. And then Sam Levitt at LSU is their 8th guy in their first tier of college quarterbacks for this year. But Arch Manning at 7 I think that's probably the lowest I've seen him ranked by anybody.
Do they say anything about that? About the rankings and why he's at 7?
Yeah, I mean they go through stuff about every player and all that. They give you a little synopsis and everything else on there.
See, I don't think it's crazy that he's a lot lower on that list than other lists, as long as it's not being done purposely, and hopefully that's not part of the rationale. Is like, he's overhyped. He played well toward the end of last year, but so far it's not been this unbelievable college career. The expectations are so high, but we're going to drop him down a few spots. I don't mind that. Drew Mestemaker, he was good at North Texas, but man, they are really taking liberties with Drew Mestemaker that he's going to be some big time quarterback in the Power Conference. We'll see. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. Darian Mensah, I think, is the most intriguing quarterback this year in college football. We know he's capable. He was paid an awful lot of money. I wonder how a Mensah compares to, let's say, a Cam Ward. Cam Ward was the number 1 overall pick by the Titans, who played at Miami. Mensah at Miami. They're expecting big things from him. I think he's good, maybe even very good. I don't know if he's great, but he can prove me wrong that he is a great quarterback this year. The guys at the top of the list, it is hard to argue. Trinidad Chambliss, what he did was incredible. The story's incredible. Hopefully Ole Miss has a great backup quarterback just in case, like they did last year with Chambliss. And then C.J. Carr, I think, is going to be really good. We saw it last year. He's blossoming at Notre Dame. And Dante Moore, no question about it, at Oregon. So, yeah, it's interesting with Arch Manning, what all the rationale was, why they put him at number 7, when I think there's a couple of guys that are questionable ahead of him.
And their tier 1, they say, is the best of the best. Strong combination of proven production, elite traits among Heisman Trophy frontrunners. Coaches want to build their teams around them. Again, they have 8 guys in that tier. Tier 2 says their definition is they have produced. Teams win because of them. They might be more circumstances dependent than tier 1, or there may be a shortcoming keeping them from there, but they are close to the elite group.
How many are in the second tier?
There are 8 more in tier 2.
Okay, can you say those, since I know you're not going to name 130 whatever, but since there's only 8, how many are in which one are they?
You got Jaden Maiava from USC,
Okay.
Noah Fafita from Arizona, Gunnar Stockton from Georgia, Josh Hoover at Indiana, Marcel Reed at A&M, Jaron Sagapulatele from Cal.
God bless you.
Kevin Jennings at SMU and John Mateer at Oklahoma are in tier 2. Some notable guys in tier 3 that certainly you could make a case. Lenora Sellers is a tier 3 guy.
They really penalized him from last year's
He's at
mediocre
number
year.
18 overall. Byron Brown from Auburn is at number 19 overall in tier 3. Damon Williams from Washington, of course, had the whole thing in the offseason.
Right.
He is at number 20 in tier number 3.
See, with Byron Brown, and we talked about him yesterday because Auburn was at SEC Media Days, that is a guy who has the capability to be, I'm not going to say Cam Newton, but Cam Newton-esque at the biggest level. And now he's at the highest level in the power conferences, in the SEC. I can't wait to watch Byron. Now, he has to have some things around him. He has to have an O-line. He has to have some weapons with the skill positions. But Byron Brown could elevate himself into that stratosphere.
A couple of other tier 3 guys. Nico Iamaleava is a tier 3 guy. He's at number 25 overall. Austin Simmons, now at Missouri, is number 26 overall, right behind Iamaleava. Bryce Underwood, in the second year now at Michigan, he is in tier 4. He leads tier 4 at number 31 overall. Kamario Taylor from Mississippi State is just behind him at 32. And just behind Taylor is Keelan Russell from Alabama, who we just talked about with Brett in our talking about the fact that Alabama's at SEC Media Days. If Keelan Russell's only 33rd quarterback-wise, Alabama's not going to the playoffs.
Right. What did they say about the 4th tier of quarterbacks? What's their description?
Tier 4 is some of the stars of tomorrow, inexperienced quarterbacks whose coaches believe in, but lack a proven resume. There are also veterans who are looking to redeem themselves and journeymen looking to make the most of their last stops.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Underwood's got to prove himself. Kamario Taylor, I think, could be a blossoming, really, really good quarterback, special quarterback. But, again, playing for Mississippi State, who I expect to be improved, that's not easy. You have to have people around you. But I watched Taylor a little bit last year, and I liked what he brought to the table. Has a gun.
Owen McCown of UTSA, the highest ranked American
No
quarterback.
surprise.
He is 47th overall in tier number 4.
Okay.
Jared Curtis of Vanderbilt, the freshman, he is in tier 4. He is number 57 overall.
Yeah, he would fall into that category. You have to prove yourself, but has the ability.
KJ Jackson for Arkansas, he is at number 63 overall. He is in tier number 5.
Okay. And what do they say about tier 5?
Tier 5 is a mix of some of the top group of 6 quarterbacks, power 4 first-time starters, unproven quarterbacks, and productive veterans with a lower ceiling or who are looking for a fresh start. These are quarterbacks teams can win with and who have distinct traits, but they're missing something that can vault them to the next level.
That would be like last year. If that list was there for last year, that would be Brendan Lewis of Memphis for last year. He would fit in that category, and I think he exceeded that category last year with the warrior he was. But he's gone.
Let's see here. Get into tier 6.
So we still have only had the one American quarterback, and we're into tier 6.
No, there's been other.
There has been others. Yeah. Okay.
I think Florida Atlantic's quarterback, I believe, was tier 4.
Yeah, that's
Veldkamp. I think he was tier 4.
Memphis made him look silly last year down there in Boca.
Yeah, he was at the bottom of tier 4, 59th overall. Ashton Daniels at Florida State is tier 5.
Ooh.
If they don't get better than that.
Could be curtains for Mike, our friend Mike.
In tier 6, you've got Emory Williams at East Carolina, number 66 overall. You have Michael Van Buren at South Florida at 73 overall. Now they go for Tennessee. They go Faison Brandon as the starter, and they put him at number 75.
In level 6?
He's in tier 6.
Tier 6? No. I mean, you would have to have him at least tier 5, I would think, in your description. But, wow. Throwing a lot at that guy to come up big.
Baylor Hayes of Tulsa is right behind Brandon. Cale Helms of Army is right behind Hayes.
See, where's that Navy quarterback? Is it Braxton?
Braxton Woodson is at number 80 overall.
Yeah, if Braxton Woodson's going to be 80, not all the publications, but a lot of publications picking Navy to win the American after losing Horvath and others, I don't see it. I just don't see it. Unless that guy all of a sudden goes from 80 to 40.
Taven Jackson of North Texas is at number 83. And then let's see here.
So hard.
Number 95 overall is Marcus Stokes.
It's almost impossible to rate him.
That's who they predict as the Memphis starter. Tier 6, number 95 overall. Caden Samanza at Tulane is at 97. And then you get into tier 7. You got Ja'Curry Brown from Rice as far as American quarterbacks go. Is that the last? That's the last. I think there's still more. Nope. Ryder Burton from UAB is at number 120 overall.
Well, at least he has Alex Mortensen coaching him. They could do a pretty good job with quarterbacks.
Connor Harrell for Charlotte is at number 133 overall.
Who's Mr. Irrelevant? 138.
Jackson Smolik from Temple is at number 137 overall. And then Trey Hedden from New Mexico State is number 138 on their list.
We have to start the Trey Hedden for Heisman candidacy. We'll start it on the show here.
Now, here is the little, I guess, kind of warning about these rankings. Again, last year was the first year that they did this with the college quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. Again, they've done it for a long time with the NFL, but last year was the first year they did it with the college quarterbacks. Last year's top 5 were Cade Klubnik, Garrett Nussmeier, Lenoris Sellers, John Mateer, and DJ Lagway.
They put the kibosh on those guys. And of course, Chambliss wasn't even rated, right? You're going with the projected starter was going to be Austin Simmons, and it was Austin Simmons.
So take it for what it's worth.
Right.
That's what their rankings were last year. Didn't work out very well for the top 5 last year. Mateer had a good year, of course, but he had the injury.
Right.
But the other guys, that was, not the rankings didn't mean a whole lot when it came down to it last year.
It's impossible to rank or rate the Tigers quarterbacks, whether it be Stokes or even worse, Air Nolan. which is no limited track record. And that doesn't surprise me whatsoever. They're that low. It also doesn't surprise me, and Coach Huff has talked about it, why he didn't bring a quarterback to, or why he won't bring a quarterback to the American Conference Media Days at the end of the week. Twofold. One, he's still got a battle going on. And number two, he doesn't want to tip his hand. So that's not going to happen. Whereas, no problem bringing Arch Manning to Media Days. Last year, it was interesting because at Memphis, Ryan Silverfield, who kept saying there was a quarterback battle, and we all knew there wasn't. He brought in Brendan Lewis. He had 1 year left. You knew the guy was going to be the starter, yet he kept saying it. I was surprised that he actually brought him to American Conference Media Days because that assured everybody, for those that maybe were on the fence, although we weren't. If he had not brought him, then maybe you're still thinking, okay, maybe there's somewhat a battle going on in camp. Maybe they're going to play Hill, the youngster. No, it was never to be. So he brought the quarterback.
So for Lenoris Sellers, he went from number 3 to tier 3.
Yeah, it's a big drop.
In 1 year. Number 3 to number 18 overall in their rankings, but number 3 to tier 3 in their rankings as well.
Well, I think Lenoris Sellers was overrated, and then now he's underrated. I think he's somewhere in the middle. I think he's a good, solid quarterback. But again, a lot of this has to do with who you surround yourself with. I mean, who are the other people around him? Who's protecting these quarterbacks? Who's running the football to take a little pressure off that quarterback? Who are they throwing to, for goodness sakes? What is the scheme? But I think there's a lot of interesting storylines. Yeah, I mean, I can understand why they had the guys they had last year. There was so much talk about Nussmeier and LSU having a huge year. Klubnik, that was all the rage. Klubnik with Clemson was going to have a big, big year. Things happen. This year, again, if you look at the top 5, or let's say the top 8 in their first tier, they're not all going to succeed. So who's the top candidate or two to not live up to those expectations? That's the question. You're not going to hit all 8. It's just like when you predict your playoffs for the NFL. Every year there's 6 different playoff teams? Like pretty much there's always going to be about 5 or 6 new teams. Not always 5. Sometimes it's 4, sometimes it's 7. But usually around 5 or 6 new playoff teams from the year prior. Well, it's just like rating these quarterbacks. They're not all going to be top tier. And injuries happen as well. But I think there's definitely question marks, in my opinion, on Mestamaker, moving now up into the Power 4, and Mensa, who I know is good, but can he be that good for Miami to make that great run again? That's what I'm curious about.
And Shane texted and asked who has the best backup quarterback. I'm not ranking backup quarterbacks.
I didn't, like Brett Norsworthy said, I had no idea who the hell the Ole Miss backup quarterback was last year until the guy came into the game. And then had to look it up and go, who is this? So I couldn't even tell you right now who the backup quarterback is. I can look at these magazines and see if they have the second stringers listed. Most of them don't. They just list the first stringer.
Well, Ole Miss, I assume, is Deuce.
Oh, yeah. Well, Brett just said that, but I didn't. I had no idea until Brett said it. But as far as backup quarterbacks, like off the top of my head, I'm just thinking out loud, most of the time, if it's a legitimate quarterback prospect, they're going to go somewhere where they have a chance to play and not have to sit behind a big name. So I don't know if there's somebody that's... Now, it was weird. The weird one was with Arch Manning when he first went to Texas and sat behind the kid that's now with the Dolphins. Who am I thinking of? Starting quarterback when he was there. They didn't rush him. They didn't rush him in.
I don't remember.
So soon we forget. The quarterback that was Ewers?
Quinn Ewers.
Yeah, Quinn Ewers. And he waited patiently. That's a rarity. But I'd have to look it up and see who I thought, oh, gosh, that's a great backup quarterback. I'm sure there's one or two out there, but I don't know off the top of my head.
I'll say I think the quarterback most likely to greatly exceed his ranking would be Bryce Underwood.
How about the most likely to fail in some regards, not be looked at as high as his ranking preseason?
I would probably go Sam Levitt.
He's got to stay healthy. Hey, everybody, July is the best month to drive to the mountains, to the beach, to anywhere in America. From sea to shining sea, the best month to come out to All-Star Chevy and pick out any new Silverado you want. Olive Branch is where all the Silverados are. And listen to this, no interest for 5 years. No payments until maybe Halloween. And your good credit deserves it. Military, first responders, you get an extra $500 bonus. How about a new Traverse with a third row seat? For all your commercial and fleet needs, All-Star Chevy is the top-rated business elite dealer. Express cargo and passenger vans are there as well. So check out the huge, and I mean huge, pre-owned section with Equinox, Tahoes, Traverses, Suburbans, so many Silverados. If you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch. Get the most money for it today. So together, let's drive. Don't miss the best sale of summer event. It's going on now in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet and online at allstarautogroup.com. When we come back, Lawrence Dockery will put a wrap on soccer, the World Cup, get his thoughts on the all-time best 11. I asked him to put together his all-time greatest team, if he could slap together 11 different guys from 11 programs. It doesn't matter. Could be multiple guys from one team, but which 11 would he come up with? He's put that list together. We'll hear from him when we return. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Available locally on your radio dial as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, it's easy to stay tuned to Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Encore flavor. Corky's barbecue. We're cooking it up. Down home way. Hickory smoke flavor like the good old days.
Hey y'all, Jimmy Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. With over 175,000 cars served in our drive-thru, 4,000 online pickup orders, and 1,500 party packs delivered to offices and events every year, Corky's is your trusted go-to barbecue for parties. Our party packs start at just $6.99 per person. You can choose 1, 2, or 3 meat combos, pick your favorite sides, and as you know, Corky's always gives you plenty of food so you never worry about running out. Whether it's pickup or delivery, we've got you covered. Corky's makes it easy to impress your guests. Visit Corky'sBBQ.com to order for your next gathering today.
Encore flavor. Corky's barbecue.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders Roofing and Restoration. We've seen days, even what seems like weeks of soaking rain, damaging hail, and even flooding. So today, do one simple thing. Look up. If you see a water stain, bubbling paint, or discoloration on your ceiling, don't ignore it. What starts as a small roof leak can quickly become mold, turning a minor problem into a major expense. At Metro Builders Memphis, our professionals will inspect your roof, assess any storm damage, help mitigate further damage. We'll measure your roof from outer space and guide you through the repair or replacement process with an estimate on site with multiple options at that. Don't let them tell you your roof needs to be replaced when all it may need is some love. We'll give you an honest assessment so you can make the right decision for your home and family. At Metro Builders Memphis, call me, 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717, or simply book your appointment online at metrobuildersmemphis.com.
Hi, I'm Ryan Saharovich, a proud partner with NST Injury Attorneys. For over 35 years, we've been fighting for Memphis families after serious accidents when insurance companies are trying to pay as little as possible. If you've been injured, the call is free, and you don't pay unless we win.
NST is the way to go. Call 68370. They've got the fight.
NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000 or visit nstlaw.com.
Want out of your high car payment? The #1 Ford dealer in the Mid-South, Landers Ford in Collierville, says, don't pay too much. A special selection of new Fords are on sale. 0% APR financing available, plus 0 payments for 90 days. The drive down your payment event. Plus, get a complimentary 2-year premium maintenance plan and a $1,000 Ford SSE down payment assistance. And with top dollar for your trade, you can lower your payments even more. Shop one of the largest selections of new Fords in the Mid-South. The price you see is the price you pay. No hidden addendums. That's the Landers Ford difference. Get started now at LandersFordMemphis.com. Give us a call to schedule your test drive today. Landers Ford in Collierville. Remember, if it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
As reported on Ford's 2025 Total New Vehicle Sales Report, Memphis Market. Valid on select new 2025 and 2026 Ford models. With approved credit through Ford Credit. Interest to cruise from inception. Complimentary 2-year premium maintenance plan available on select Ford vehicles. Coverage begins at the new vehicle limited warranty start date for 2 years or up to 25,000 miles, whichever occurs first. Price plus tax, title, license. Offers include $695 processing fee. Offer ends 8/3/26.
This traffic brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery. Come for the spirits, stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. Learn more at olddominick.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning, cranking it pretty good out here now, right on schedule up through Midtown as we check it out live. 240 north here at Lamar. TDOT's wrapping up a couple of accidents out here. Still some volume trying to get down I-40 westbound right now, coming past Germantown Parkway all the way down to Sycamore View Road, trying to get on that 240 flyover. Some of that traffic's already getting off there onto Sam Cooper coming inbound. Bridal season is here. Shop local this week at Weimer's Jewelry, located 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Isn't it a lovely morning?
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:31 is the time as we continue in hour number 2 of the program. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Jay Ham. Coming up in hour 3, we open up the hour getting back into SEC talk with our buddy Jay Phillips. Right now, Kalen DeBoer has taken over the microphone at SEC Media Days in Tampa, the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide. But from one football to another football, or as we call that in America, soccer, it is time to put a wrap on the World Cup, and we do so with our good friend, our soccer insider, Lawrence Dockery, writer for Beyond the 90, host of the 901 Soccer podcast, and a soccer referee since 2006. So he knows the game inside and out. We gave numbers earlier in the show, Lawrence. 61.5 million viewers combined via Fox, Peacock, and Telemundo. Most watched soccer telecast ever in U.S. history. We're talking about the final with Spain knocking off Argentina 1-0. But what kind of lasting effect, if any, will it have on soccer fans in the United States? Good morning.
Well, good morning, and that is the $100 billion question there, isn't it?
Yes.
As far as what the legacy of this World Cup is. And, we've talked ad nauseum about the 94 World Cup being the impetus and the launching point for MLS in 96. And, we already have an MLS. It's been around for 31 years now. We've already we were so established as a soccer country, we've got teams all the way down to USL Championship, League One, and League Two, including right here in Memphis. So, that's an avenue that no longer exists. For building a legacy for the tournament and that sort of thing. It's all going to have to come down to people supporting their local team. And there's going to be a lot of, you've already seen a lot of it, what Premier League team do I know? What European team do I need to watch? How often should I watch the Champions League? But I haven't heard a whole lot of discussion about, I live in Memphis, I should go support the Tigers, or I live in Nashville and support Nashville FC, and so on and so on. MLS has really dropped the ball on trying to capitalize on this World Cup, striking while the iron is hot, so to speak. They've come up with this goofy little marketing campaign, which they only decided to start doing like 2 days before the World Cup final, which, you had 9 years to plan this. Why you're waiting until 3 days before the World Cup final, I don't understand. But it's like, thanks, world. We'll take it from here. And the viewership figures for their games on Fox on Friday and the crowds for their games on like Wednesday and Thursday, not looking so hot. And that includes probably the biggest rivalry game in the league in one of the best soccer cities in the league with the Seattle Sounders and the Portland Timbers, where, you know, they play in the Seahawks Stadium, and that's usually a 66,000, sellout crowd, and they got like 31. So we're not off to a great start. But, to your point about the ratings, look, for the 78 games of the 102 that were played in the U.S., the average was 69,172 people per game. The average Fox viewership was 7.53 million viewers. The average Telemundo viewership was 6.1. And the combined average was 13.638 million viewers per game over the course of the entire tournament. That is staggering, and that is astounding. Combined between Telemundo and Fox, 1.4 billion people watched the tournament just in this country. That is, I think, even surpassed my wildest, most pie-in-the-sky, most optimistic expectations. So there's no way that there isn't going to be some sort of overflow and that there's not going to be some sort of afterglow. But, the individual teams, the leagues themselves, the schools that have soccer teams, U.S. soccer, everybody needs to be doing a lot more than what it looks like they're doing right now if they really want to make it stick. And I would also add that shows like this one have a part to play in this as well. And I always go back to the WNBA, because for years the WNBA was an absolute nothing burger. And then once they had a star that was, marketable, and Caitlin Clark, then all of a sudden everybody started talking WNBA, and interest rose accordingly. It's kind of like in The Wolf of Wall Street, when Jordan Belfort is doing the Steve Madden IPO. It says, we're going to ram Steve Madden stock down our clients' throats until they choke on it. I would not be opposed, and I've tried to do what I can to ram the sport down people's throat until they choke on it. And this was the perfect time to do it. So we're just going to have to, hopefully that a lot more entities get on board a lot more regularly going forward.
Just a quick question first, and I certainly don't know the actual ballpark number if you have one. Like, how many guys that played in the World Cup for all of the various countries play in the MLS?
I don't know what the exact number is, but there have been from a number of respected American soccer journalists who, wouldn't just throw this figure out there just to throw it out there. By any number of metrics, wins, goals scored, total minutes played, Major League Soccer was the sixth best, most well-represented league in the world. And so that's the five best leagues in Europe and then us. So if it's not a European league, Major League Soccer was the best league at this World Cup. But, we're by that metric, yes, Major League Soccer has quote unquote arrived, but you look at the way Major League Soccer teams compete against teams from other countries, and it's not close. You look at the CONCACAF Champions Cup, for example. Liga MX down in Mexico has won 24 out of the last 25. MLS has won one in a quarter century, so you're not really competing with them. And but by any number of metrics, Major League Soccer was the sixth best league at this World Cup. Like I said, in terms of goals scored, number of players representing their national teams, and so on.
And you compare it to first of all, I mean, if U.S. Soccer could get its Caitlin Clark, that would certainly help. They don't have that, and you won't want to hear this, but as I said the other day, yes, there were 60 million people watching it. The final was so boring. There's no reason for any of those people to want to continue to watch.
Well, and I heard that point, and I'm gonna borrow a turn of phrase from our buddy John Varas, and I got a bone to pick with you on that.
That's fine.
The game was much more boring, or I don't know, much less interesting than the rest of the games at this tournament. This was actually the most goals scored in a tournament, the most goals scored per game in World Cup history was at this tournament. And the two things about the final, and why that is just specifically about that game and those teams and not about the sport as a whole, is that is just the way Spain plays. If they're playing somebody that is incredibly talented, it's going to be a very boring game. and they're just going to, kind of lull you to sleep, death by 1,000 paper cuts, and then when you've switched off for just that half second, they're going to score on you, and then they're going to be able to defend their lead. Also, when you get to we got spoiled with the World Cup final in 2018 and 2022, with those being wide open, back and forth, very exciting, very entertaining games. But by and large, the World Cup final is a very tight, very nervous, very tense game with teams playing not to lose instead of playing to win. And so there's far fewer chances. Because any mistake that you make is magnified by a factor of 1,000 because it's a World Cup final. So that was just the nature of the game, that specific game with those two teams, rather than an indictment of the sport as a whole. 13 million people watched basically every single game at this tournament, and I think that by and large they were much more entertained for the rest of the tournament than they were with the final.
Yeah, and that's fine. But my thing is, the final is where you are gaining people. You're the people that don't care about soccer.
It's like a Super Bowl.
But hey, this is this World Cup final. I've been hearing about it. I'll watch the final to see. That wasn't a great selling point to keep those people going, oh my gosh, I got to start watching soccer more. However, whatever the reason is, those people, again, and I'm probably, because I'm not even a casual soccer fan. I don't like soccer. I admit that. I don't like it at all. I watch 2 or 3 games of this, whatever. One of the ones that watch the final because it's the final. There are others who are casual fans who, again, will watch the final, probably watch more than I do. But that is just not a great selling point to say, there's going to be a lasting effect to this because everybody now is going to go, oh my gosh, did you see this soccer? No, that game was not a selling point at all for people to watch it.
Well, in other sport, in any other sport in this country, you have good games and bad games. That's
no, I know, but a terrible Super Bowl doesn't matter because it's the NFL. If you're trying to sell your sport, you need your game where everybody's watching it to sell the sport. This one did not. That's what I'm saying. That's nobody's fault. It just is what it is. This was not the game to try and get a big lasting impact for soccer of people watching it.
Well, you're not going to get a whole big lasting impact based on one game. It's going to be the whole 39-day tournament and all the stuff that went along with it. And I would counter this by saying that if you were already somebody with a preconceived notion and were predisposed to dislike soccer, whether the final was good or not was not going to make any difference.
Exactly. Well, here's the thing. You hope that those casual fans watched more than the championship. I like soccer, but I don't watch it all the time.
Look at the numbers. We know the championship had way more people watching it than it always was going to.
But that doesn't mean they didn't watch some of the other games. Doesn't mean that's the only game they watched.
Well, there were 60 million people watching that.
I know, but there were 100. How many games were there in the World Cup, Lawrence? How many
102.
Games? There was 102 games. There could have been 3,000 of them watched one of the games or 2,000. You don't know if all those people were first-time watchers of the World Cup this year. Your point's well taken, but Lawrence's as well, that you can't rely on just the one damn game to decide whether or not you're going to like the sport or not, because you do run into these games. It's just like baseball, especially in the past, when a pitcher would go 9 and dominate and throw a 2-hit shutout, and people hated 2-0, but some love 2-0. It's not the biggest selling point having Spain dominate the way they did, especially when Argentina never got a shot on goal. But the day before, you saw a 6-4, 10-goal game, and you saw other ones during the tournament. I think that's your point, is that hopefully some watched at some point of the World Cup and said, you know what, it's not bad. It's not as bad. All right, with that said, Lawrence, if you were the soccer czar and you made all the decisions, and I know you've been a ref for 20 years, would there be any drastic changes that you would make to the game itself?
To the rules of competition no.
Because we are Eli and I are we agree with this, and I know others are. The offside thing, it drives us batty, and I'm sure it drives a lot of people batty.
I'd make about 10 changes, and I'd have the game much more exciting.
Well, I know. You go shirts and skins.
I would also just point out that all of the changes to quote unquote make the game more exciting have been tried in this country in the 1920s with the old American Soccer League, and then again in the 70s and 80s with the North American Soccer League. And it didn't result in nearly the uptick in scoring that everybody thought that it would, and it didn't result in a lot more people going to or watching the game. So I really don't think there's a whole lot that's wrong, especially with offside. there are two other sports that this country watches that have offside.
Right.
So I reject the need to get rid of offside.
Well, what's
And
interesting is I grew up in the 60s and 70s, and I remember the onslaught of the NASL, and I remember in my home state when the Cosmos went out and got Pele and Canalia and Beckenbauer and all that, and they were drawing 70,000, 80,000 at the Meadowlands. I mean, it was huge. I don't know what happened after that. You know what I mean? Soccer didn't keep my interest.
In the lead up to this World Cup, I've been reading. I've probably finished 15 or 20 books on the contemporary story of American soccer and the history of American soccer, and it's actually kind of what happened to the NASL kind of mirrors what's going on in college athletics right now, where the Cosmos were spending money like it was going out of style to get all these people, and they were drawing 78,000 people a game. So everybody else in the NASL decided they had to start spending money like it was going out of style, money that they didn't really have. And because they didn't sign Pele, nobody was still going to their games unless the Cosmos came to town. So everybody was spending, and only one team was making any money. So all the other teams ended up folding, going out of business, which is, not a good radically model. Different from what we're seeing going on in college athletics right now. But I would,
but they're not going but college teams aren't going out of business. There will always be college sports. They're not going to fold up 10.
You looked at the University of Louisville just a couple of months ago was like, hey, we're successful in this and we're spending all this money and we're running $100 billion deficit.
Right. No, you hear it all. You
some
hear
way,
it.
shape, or form, that's not going to be sustainable. And it may not result in going out of business, but it's going to result in bad things.
I hear you.
So you're comparing soccer offsides to football offsides?
It's not an apples to apples comparison.
It's not even close.
But
the football offsides would mean the receiver can't get behind the defense. The quarterback can't throw it to the receiver if he's behind the defense. That's a dumb rule. That's the defense's fault if the guy gets behind them, not the offensive guy's fault.
What would happen, Lawrence?
In football, offsides is you cheated. Like the ball's dead and you're across the line. In soccer, it's I can't get behind the defense. That's just dumb.
What happened if you abolished offsides in soccer? Abolished it?
That's a good question. I don't really know because it's not something that I've ever thought about. So it's not because it's not an action that I've ever thought would happen. I've never had to consider what the consequences of it might be. I don't really know.
Right.
We might see a lot more red cards for denying obvious goal scoring opportunities, for just clocking people when they're behind you and you're trying to prevent them from scoring a goal. But I don't know.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. So I asked you to do something for me, and I know that you did because you are a great student and a great teacher of the game of soccer. You're both a student and a teacher. I asked you to put together your best 11. So all the greats that have played the game, okay? I'm not talking about one team of 11. I'm talking about, one team, but they're not all from the same team. So what did you come up with for our listeners, especially our soccer aficionados out there? Lawrence Dockery, what is your best all-time 11?
Well, I just want to couch this by saying this is an impossible task.
Yes.
Because there are so many incredibly great players, and somebody that absolutely deserves to be on the list is going to be left off.
No question.
But I think I've got a pretty good mix of contemporary and recent history and older history on here.
Okay.
So we'll start with the goalkeeper and work our way forward. For goalkeeper, I've got the Italian legend Gianluigi Buffon. Won a World Cup with Italy, won Serie A in Italy, I don't know how many times. Had, I think, a 21-year career playing for the national team. Won every number of individual awards. He won them. Then on the back line for defenders, I've got four of them. I've got Roberto Carlos from Brazil, arguably the best defender of all time. I've got Franz Beckenbauer from Germany. He won, I think, a World Cup as a player and a coach with Germany.
And was with the Cosmos, one of those players I talked about. Yeah.
Correct. And then I've got Paolo Maldini from Italy, who did not win a World Cup with Italy, I don't believe, but did go to the final with Italy in 1994 at the Rose Bowl. 126 appearances for the Italian national team. Was on a group called the Immortals with AC Milan, and then a separate group at AC Milan called Invincibles. So Paolo Maldini right on there. And then much more contemporarily, I put Philipp Lahm from Germany. Was a stalwart with Bayern Munich, was a stalwart with the German national team, won the Bundesliga, won the Champions League, and won the World Cup in 2014.
Okay.
The midfield is where it got really, really, really tricky. I went with Zinedine Zidane. When he was not headbutting people, he was one of the most creative, greatest players the world has ever seen. Incredibly successful as a player.
From France, right?
Different leagues. Correct. Won a World Cup and a European Championship with France. Won any number of French league titles, Italian league titles, Champions League, that sort of thing. Been an excellent manager with Real Madrid. I think is taking over the French national team.
We got about 2 minutes. We got to roll through this.
All right. Then we got Xavi from Spain, and Barcelona was part of the Spain team that won 2 Euros and a World Cup 12 years ago.
Okay.
Andrea Pirlo from Italy. Johan Cruyff from the Netherlands. Obviously, they invented a move called the Cruyff Turn. The arena in Amsterdam is named after him. And then up front, I really struggled. You can't not put Messi on there, so Messi is on there as an attacker, obviously. And then I was torn between the old Ronaldo from Brazil, R9, with his ridiculous power haircut, and Pele, and I ended up just going with Ronaldo because his European club career, I mean, he was a goal-a-game player.
So you went Ronaldo from Brazil?
Correct.
So you left off Cristiano Ronaldo and you left off Pele?
I did.
Okay. I mean, like you said, it was a hard task to do, but you did it. You've been terrific throughout the World Cup. We'll have you back on, of course. We'll talk some Tigers, men's and women's soccer sometime probably in September. But, Lawrence, thank you so much. You're great at what you do. Keep it up, my friend. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lawrence. All right. That's a tough task, man, to put together that team. We'll take a break. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Let Bryant Dacus and Brett Norsworthy take you home every afternoon. Sports Time on Sports 56. Weekdays from 3 to 6 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
The Colonel is the king of chicken. That's why he's always had a beef with beef. But on Wednesdays, he's squashing the beef by frying it. KFC Country Fried Steak is here for only $4.99. Crispy golden outside, tender steak inside. Served with peppery gravy, mashed potatoes, coleslaw, and a biscuit. At last, the Colonel and beef buried the hatchet in gravy. Get the $4.99 Country Fried Steak Wednesdays for a limited time only at KFC.
Prices and participation may vary while supplies last. Not available on third-party ordering platforms. Tax, tip, and fees extra.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgos. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar base. It's now available in a 32-ounce jar. It's so good to base or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or at our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef, and she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from a Mediterranean diet or a steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meats. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper was more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with a perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at the Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it.
A beloved family affair and still going strong since 1948, the Rendezvous. At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
This traffic brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery. Come for the spirits, stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. Learn more at olddominick.com.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
To reveal the full spectrum of its dazzling color.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
SEC Media Days, day number 3, rolling right along in Tampa. Alabama's Kalen DeBoer at the podium here just recently, minutes ago, asked if he thinks his legacy at Alabama will be contingent upon winning a national championship. Quote, "I wouldn't doubt that's the case. I'm not focused on that, just focused on bringing the best out of each person involved in the program." Well, I believe what he says there, and I think he's absolutely right. It's not I wouldn't doubt that's the case. It is the case. You are the Alabama head football coach. Your legacy will be determined by winning a national championship, sometimes even multiple. But everybody can't be Bear Bryant and Nick Saban. And Alabama, how lucky for them that they had both of those guys as coaches. But we've also seen Alabama where they've failed. It's not always been successful. It's been most of the time. But DeBoer, who had the great success at Washington, did a great job with that program, no denying. Last year, nice bounce back for Alabama to get to the SEC championship game. They get beat. They get to the playoff. They win their first round game. Then they get smothered by Indiana. But it steps in the right direction. But Eli, DeBoer, he has to win a natty. It's just like Lane Kiffin has to win a natty at LSU. These are absolute musts. Pete Golding doesn't have to win a national championship at Ole Miss to be a successful coach and go down as one of the better coaches when it's all said and done at Ole Miss if he stays there long and he has success. But Lane Kiffin has to win one. DeBoer has to win one. Wouldn't you agree?
No, because I'd never say that it's championship or
Oh, you don't
failure.
say it's championship or bust?
No, I don't think. I mean, it's hard to win championships. I don't think the judgment of anybody should be whether they won a championship or not.
But it will be, right? You can agree with that. Alabama fans will look back at DeBoer's tenure and determine how successful it was on championships. And the same with LSU fans on Kiffin. And they may even be worse than Bama
Well, you
fans.
could say that you could judge how successful it was based on whether they won a championship or not. But to say, like, if he doesn't win a championship, it was a failure, I don't believe you could do that.
No, I'm not saying that. But they are going to look at it and they're going to judge.
Well, a bust would be a failure. And so if you're saying championship or bust, that would be a failure.
Well, they're going to
doesn't win a championship.
They're going to want him out. They're going to want the guy fired in a couple of years if it doesn't happen. If Lane Kiffin goes...
If they're going to the playoff and going to the semifinals every year but not winning a championship, then I don't want him fired.
No. Yes, they will.
No, they won't.
Yes, they will. Absolutely 100%. Not every fan base. I'm talking about there's a few fan bases in college football that want the guy gone. If Lane Kiffin comes in here with all the bells and whistles at LSU, you got to give him a year. I think that's fair. Even though he talks the talk, he's kind of backed off it. You got to give him a year. If Lane Kiffin doesn't win a natty in 3 years, maybe 4, but probably 3, they're going to want a new coach.
Not if he's going to the playoffs and going to like the semifinals every year.
It's a natty, man. It's all about the chips. It's all about the chips at Alabama and LSU, especially with the track record of the different LSU coaches that have won natties recently. And then, of course, you have the legacy at Alabama, which he's never going to live up to that. But somehow Nick Saban not only lived up to Bear, but surpassed it. So, yeah, I think fans of different programs look at things differently. I can't speak for all of them. And I know it's great to get to the postseason. But I think for sure if you don't win within a certain amount of time at Alabama and LSU, they're going to want to change. That's the way I feel. All right, we'll take a break. Hour 3 on the way. Jay Phillips will join us to talk some SEC when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
Hey, I've got him on the line right now. Marty McNate. Marty, I hear you got some exciting deals over there at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown.
You heard right, Randy. I got a 2026 Jetta S, 40 MPG highway estimate, $249 a month.
$249 a month for Jetta S. Hey, what else you got out there, McNate?
If you love a great deal on an SUV, you gotta love the 2026 Tiguan 2.0 TS, $269 a month.
I know I'm loving Tiguan at $269 a month. How about Atlas?
Well, out here at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, your 2026 Atlas SE is only $329 a month.
$329 a month for Atlas. So get out there, ask for Marty McNate. He'll be waiting for you at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, 7420 Winchester Road, or shop online, GossettVWG.com.
And remember, your future is what you make it.
All 36-month lease, Atlas TC 564-481, MSRP 41911, Jetta TMO 312-217, MSRP 25791, Tiguan TMO 43763, MSRP 32881, include all rebates and incentives, must be funded through Volkswagen Financial Services, PFA 95, exclude stock value and license to the Blue Grid, offering 73126, dealer stock only, MPG estimate provided by EPA.
Hi, this is Troy Five Ash, owner of Five Ash Roof Services. I wanted to take a minute and discuss advertising with you. There are so many websites that list the best service provider in your area. Even the BBB has an accredited list. You know the one thing they all have in common? A company like mine has to pay to get on that list. So that begs the question, can those lists be trusted? You know what can be trusted? History. We've been around for almost 30 years providing customers with the best service and the best products that we possibly can. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call. We'll come talk to you and let you decide for yourself whether or not we know what we're talking about. Five Ash Roof Services. Best products, best warranties, and in many cases, the best price. We're fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Here's something I've thought about more as I've gotten older. Keeping my family safe, not living in fear, just being prepared. It's why I use Byrna. They make self-defense tools that actually work, that anybody can use, even if you've never picked one up before. And here's what got me. It's legal in all 50 states. No permit, no background check. Ships right to your door. Shoots up to 60 feet, way more distance than pepper spray. And the rounds will stop a threat and give you the time and space to get your family somewhere safe. What I like is the distance and how easy it is to use. You don't have to let a problem get close to you. You've got options. And they're built right here in America, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Hand-assembled, Byrna is trusted by the pros. Over 500 government agencies, police departments, and private security firms use Byrna. Byrna.com/herd. BYRNA.com/herd. Byrna. Be ready.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning, cranking it pretty good out here now. The normal spots for this time of the morning, especially 240 north here at Lamar. All that traffic trying to get up through the Midtown area. It continues to build over from Crittenden County, West Memphis on the I-40 bridge, 55 bridge, also showing signs of building as well. Hey, don't let a slipping transmission make things worse on your car or truck. If you're having any kind of transmission problems whatsoever, let them check it out today at Amco Transmissions. There's 2 locations right here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, with Dave Woloshin, weekday mornings from 10 to 11.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Good morning!
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:04 is the time. Hour number 3 here on Sports 56 Mornings, the Wednesday, July 22nd, 2026 edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Jay Ham. We're broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studios. We're live and local every single day, every single show. Family Leisure, check them out at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Currently 78 with a feel like of 83. A little bit lower humidity. We're going to see some sun. It's been cloudy this morning, but 90 for the high, which is a lot better than yesterday's 100 degrees and 115 heat index. But I'm not saying it's going to be cold outside. It's still going to be quite hot. And then tomorrow, more of the same with the high not reaching 90. 88 degrees, the projected high for your Tuesday. We got a lot more to get to on the program. And right now, it is our pleasure to catch up with our good friend, Jay Phillips, who we talk to usually at this time during media days every single year. Jay Phillips is the co-host of the game. That's the post-game show, 3 to 6 Eastern, 107.5 The Game in Columbia, South Carolina. Jay Phillips, it has been a while. How are you, my friend?
Good morning, boys. I'm great. Before we get started, though, I did not yet receive my $1,000 Sissy's Log Cabin gift certificate for my appearance.
We'll have to get Brett on that, man, since it's his sponsor.
You know, a little something for the effort. You know, could use a new Rolex. So just saying.
I hear you. We'll get that in the mail.
All right.
Add to your Rolex collection.
Yeah. You know, I got one for every day of the week. One of them got wet at the beach, so I gotta replace it. So what are we gonna do here, Eli? I gotta find a way. Now, great to be with you, boys. Always.
Jay, let me ask you this, because we were just debating this in our last segment. I said that for Alabama fans and for LSU fans, it's national championship or bust. And if DeBoer, even though last year was an improvement and they got to the playoff, even if they go to the playoffs every year, if they don't win it all, they'll want to change. If Kiffin doesn't win one, probably within 3-4 years, they'll want to change. Eli said, no, they're going to be happy just making the playoffs. I think there are some programs.
I said going to the playoffs and winning games. If they're going to the
but not winning a championship.
Year,
but you said not. I'm saying it has to be a championship won at some point for programs like Alabama and LSU, which is a lot different than Ole Miss, South Carolina, and others. Would you agree or disagree?
Well, I would agree with that last point, that teams like South Carolina, Mississippi, Arkansas, maybe even put the Vols in there, are going to be happy if they can get in and every once in a while advance. I would maybe separate Bama and LSU. I just think Nick Saban so spoiled that program that championship or bust has become part of the narrative. And, to the point about making the playoff last year, let's face it, guys, they got curb stomped by Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was ugly. And so even though you made it, you really were shown a roadmap to success, and you got lost. And Indiana is obviously at the top of the mountain now. So I think Kalen has a lot of work to do. Lane gets a 2-year opportunity to get them into the playoff, but much like Brian Kelly, guys, I think by year 3, to your point, Greg, if you're not in a position to win the whole thing, they will get antsy. And it's interesting because I look at LSU and Texas and Florida as all kind of being in the same boat. They got so much talent. They got such, a high level of resources and seemingly underachieve. Whereas Alabama, it doesn't punch above its weight, but demographically, the state of Alabama is just not Texas or Florida or even Louisiana.
Sure.
Georgia is doing its part I think they're pretty relative to what they are. They'd like to win a little bit more, but LSU people, they know they're loaded with NFL dudes, and they are every year. Even if they go 7-6 or if they go 12-0, they got the same amount of NFL guys. So again, like Kelly, by year 3, they were getting antsy. And, of course, he rubbed people the wrong way. Lane has a habit of that, but in a different way. So I'll be anxious to see how quickly Kiffin gets the Tigers rolling because, let's face it, almost everywhere patience is thin these days.
Well, the thing is, Kelly got to a 4th year without even sniffing the playoff. My point is,
and they were belly aching about it the whole time.
Again, but if you're making the playoff and winning games and going to the semifinals and stuff like that, they're not going to fire you over that.
No, I agree. If you're making it, let's call the semifinal, let's equate it to the Final Four. I don't disagree with that. If you're doing that with some level of consistency, I think it'll be okay. Kirby is doing that at Georgia, but eventually, again, like Georgia fans will expect a championship. And I suppose, Eli, the only to play devil's advocate to your point, because I don't disagree with you, would simply be if you make the semifinal, I don't know, 3 times in 5 years, but don't advance, the question may be more of a tactical decision in game relative to, well, hey, the ball bounces funny or something like that. And,
he
and
can
that's
get us there, but
an AD.
Yeah, he can get us there, but he can't, we can't break through with him.
Yeah. So, and again, we haven't necessarily seen that yet, but look, I think Kalen DeBoer, God bless him, look, whoever, and I know you guys have talked about this. I know we have on our show and have countless others across the country. Whoever was going to follow Nick was just going to, it's just a big ask. And I mean, I think about, and I don't want to go too far down other rabbit holes. I think about when Bill Guthridge took over for Dean Smith, they made a Final Four, but Guthridge couldn't coach. He didn't know what he was doing. It was like he was along for the ride, but it was because, well, hey, he's been there. And it's different with DeBoer. He's come in and he's expecting, or they're expecting him rather, to replicate Nick as best he possibly can. And I'm just, I think a lot of other things in the landscape have changed when it comes to that. And I think Kalen's a good coach. I genuinely do. But, that like I said, Nick just spoiled that fan base in ways that we haven't seen in collegiate sports, in a long time. You got to go back to, almost like John Wooden to just see that level of consistent championship level winning. And it's just so hard to do. So like I said, bless his heart. He's got his, but you know what? I say bless his heart, boys, but what's he making? Like 12 a year?
Yeah.
Right.
He's not going to feel sorry for anybody.
Yeah, he's not worried about where his next meal's coming from. But
he could end up getting paid a bunch of money not to coach.
I just think there are some programs. I mean, Ohio State's another example. I'm not sure when Day took over, but they're getting to the playoffs. They're getting to the national championship game. They're losing, and they want him out of there because Michigan won, and they didn't win.
No, because he couldn't beat Michigan.
Well, whatever the point is, they wanted him out, and he's going.
Well, and now that Indiana, I mean, look, I realize Cignetti coupled with the new order of things or lack of order of things, depending on your point of view in college sports, has allowed the Hoosiers to do what they're doing. But I mean, come on, y'all. This would be like if all of a sudden across our landscape, and I don't mean this to be a knock, only to illustrate, if Mississippi State were suddenly the best program in the country. Like
right.
That's not supposed to happen. Indiana and football don't go together. If anything, Purdue was always the quote football school in that state of the Big Ten. Notre Dame doesn't count, but or the Colts, right? Not the Hoosiers. And so Ohio State fans are going, what the hell? And we're not winning. They are. And so I think there's part of that for Day. But again, at Ohio State, Greg, they're again loaded with NFL dudes. You are expected 10 games. If you win less than 10 games, you failed in that particular season.
No question.
And
no question. And that's my point. All right. The Gamecocks this year, is there pressure on Beamer? What about Norris? Can he jump back and have the season that was projected last year?
Okay, so the second question, I'll go first. I think the answer to that is yes. And with Kendall Briles coming in as the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach, I think that's going to really benefit LaNorris and what he is best able to do. I think last year, for a variety of reasons, under Mike Shula, Mike was running a 25-year-old pro-style offense in Columbia, and the Gamecocks did not have the offensive line or the run game, which kind of go hand in hand, to be able to support Lenoris the way they had the year prior with Rocket Sanders and a pretty good offensive line. And that makes a gigantic difference as anybody. I mean, let's face it, if you can't run the ball in this sport, it doesn't matter how good the quarterback is. And South Carolina could not run the ball. And I think it's like 43% of the snaps last year, Lenoris was under some form of pressure. I mean, that's just unheard of. And so they brought in Randy Clements with Kendall to coach that offensive line. They brought in some high-profile transfers on that offensive line. They've got real depth there now. A bunch of starters come back, but I think at least two of Carolina's starters from last season on the line will become backups this season. So that's interesting because you typically want returning starters, but I think that's how much they've upgraded talent-wise. We'll see in the coming weeks exactly what it looks like. But 2 years ago, Greg, Dowell Loggins was the Carolina offensive coordinator. He's gone on to be the head coach at Appalachian State, but he had worked with Kendall Briles at Arkansas and brought some of Kendall's principles with him to Columbia, and they really worked well for Lenoris. And so we actually interviewed Lenoris yesterday when it was Carolina's turn at Media Days, and you can tell how excited he is to be back in that system. I think there was a hope last year that Lenoris would be trained up in some of Shula's ways with some NFL stuff in an effort to develop him further as a potential first-round pick and learn some of the things he needed to do in the pocket. But it's still college football, and you're still there to win games, not just – this isn't double-A baseball, if you get my drift.
Right.
You're not there just to develop. You got to win football games. And so I think they feel real good about what Kendall can do. And obviously Kendall Briles has a very proven track record through his career. To your first question to me about Shane, and it all kind of goes hand in hand. Yeah, there's definitely pressure. This administration made sure that they had more NIL money to keep Lenoris Sellers, to keep Nick Harbor, to keep Dylan Stewart, to go get a guy like Jacarius Peete, who was one of the top 2 or 3 offensive linemen in the portal coming out of NC State. So they've done a good job of retaining talent and garnering new talent. Kendall Briles is making the shade over $2 million a year as a coordinator, so that's big investment into the program to get Shane what he needs. Shane's very popular here. Fans like him. The president and the board like him, but you got to win football games. And if you go 4-8 and 1-7 in the conference again, South Carolina is going to be looking for a new football coach. There's just no other way to put it. I don't anticipate that this season. I think Carolina can start in their first 5. They should, at worst, in my opinion, be 4-1, with a 1 being a loss in Tuscaloosa. And the other, last 2 years, they have played Alabama within 1 score in each of those games and found a way to lose it with turnovers late. It wasn't because Alabama came in and dominated or anything. The Gamecocks, quite literally, Lenoris Sellers in both games fumbled the ball late and gave Alabama short field to score a winning touchdown. So can't happen again. But other than that, you should start 4-1. Then you go to Gainesville. Then it gets hard. A&M, Tennessee, Georgia, Clemson towards the end of the year. But getting back to a bowl game is certainly, I think, the bare minimum for the Gamecocks this season in order to keep everybody here next year.
What if you're making an official kind of prediction? How many wins do you think there are for this team?
I think there's a good 7 in there. I really do. I think, and I know this sounds crazy considering how good A&M was last year, but remember too, guys, the Gamecocks went to College Station and were up 31-3 at halftime, and then found a way to blow it. One of the more.
He didn't want to talk about it yesterday, right, Jay?
No, he didn't. But I think they've got to learn from it, and they fault a lack of on-field leadership as much as anything. I get where they're coming from. I think talent-wise, you can go toe-to-toe with most of these teams. Again, you were in a battle with Alabama, who made the playoff. You were in a battle with A&M in their building, who made the playoff. You had a 1-score game with LSU in Baton Rouge. You had a 1-score game with Missouri in Como. This team can play, and they've got players. I think last year, again, honestly, their offensive line play was just so dreadful that late in games, teams knew where to attack, and the Gamecocks just didn't have an answer. So, like I said, Eli, in terms of your question about how many wins, I think you should be 4-1 going into at worst 4-1 going to Gainesville. I think the game at Florida could be a toss-up. Going to Gainesville is hard for everybody.
Yeah.
Tennessee comes to Columbia. I like that opportunity. The Gamecocks go to Fayetteville, but this year at least they should beat Arkansas, so I like that as a win. I'll give A&M the lean as them coming to Columbia to certainly be a favorite. But again, I saw what South Carolina was able to do with the Aggies last year, and so while I won't call it a toss-up, I'm not going to say, well, you can't win that one. Georgia will come here as the heavy favorite for the last conference game, and then South Carolina goes to Clemson. So, I think there's 7 in there. You might have to steal 1 or 2 somewhere along the way, if you will, but I think they can get that done. I'd love to see Vandy and Missouri back on the schedule. Instead, they've been replaced with Tennessee and Georgia.
I'm sure Coach would too.
Yeah, so it's a little different. But I'm also very glad, honestly, and fans are around here, Florida, Georgia, and Tennessee were off the schedule for 2 years, and it was weird. Yeah. So I'm glad those 3 are back because I love big games like that.
All right, so Brett Norsworthy, Brett Norsworthy was on with us as he is all this week from Tampa, and he made the bold prediction, not because he works the games as their pregame and postgame guy, but he predicts Ole Miss to win the national championship.
Oh, my.
What say you, Jay Phillips? How do you see it shaking out in the SEC?
Look, I don't know how much of last year's playoff run was just a lot of bravado and us against the world and Pete just getting the job and Trinidad had a hot hand because, boy, Trinidad Chambliss made some big plays in the playoffs. My goodness, he did. I don't think Mississippi catches teams by surprise this season, and I think a couple of those games that look like toss-up games in conference play maybe don't go Ole Miss's way. I could be wrong. I love Brett's enthusiasm. I'll say that much. But if there's a national champion coming out of the Southeastern Conference, I think they reside in Athens or Austin. I really do.
Both pretty good teams. But, to his point with Ole Miss, now he has Trinidad Chambliss winning the Heisman, and he's capable of that. Like, we know that.
I think he is.
And if you have him and Kewan Lacey in the backfield, that is a good start offensively.
It is. And again, I think it's hard to replicate some of what you did last year. And I'm a believer in Ole Miss. Look, here's the thing. South Carolina's seen Ole Miss the last couple of years. It wasn't pretty. And again, Carolina went toe-to-toe with some other schools that were also pretty good. So I've seen firsthand how good the Rebels can be. Like I said, I wonder how much of last year was Pete and with the Kiffin transition and all of that and all those different soap opera storylines swirling around saying, hey, let's circle the wagons and make it happen. I was really surprised when they beat Georgia, and they made the plays and Georgia didn't. And that game came down to what, y'all, 2 or 3 snaps?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Ole Miss got it done. So just doing that, Eli, for the bulk of 15 games just feels hard, but maybe that's just history talking relative to, again, what a Texas, a Bama, and LSU, a Georgia are more capable of talent-wise. Does Ole Miss have that second level depth that is required, is an absolute necessity to go the distance? Trinidad winning the Heisman is one thing. Mississippi winning a national championship and going through the playoffs is another.
Do you expect the SEC to end the Big Ten's run, or do you think comes from outside the SEC again?
Well, if it comes from outside the SEC, I imagine it'll be a Big Ten school, I suppose. Yeah. Look, Miami played for the title last year, and I think they overachieved a little bit. I don't see anybody in the Big 12 being able to win a national championship, despite all the Texas Tech bluster, which is a topic for a whole week's worth of shows. But I like Georgia. I like Texas. I do think LSU is loaded with talent, y'all. And I know Lane's chomping at the bit, but Ohio State loaded. Indiana, no reason to bet against them at this point.
Oregon loaded.
Yeah, Oregon, I think Dan Lanning is ready to break through. Those might be the only ones. Michigan's not there, and Southern Cal's not quite back
Penn State,
yet.
I don't think they're now.
So, I think there's one of them. Just like always, a little dark horse that I think people are sleeping on Oklahoma, and I'm not sure why.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Oklahoma win total was 7.5 at one of the big books out in Vegas. And I'm like, boy, I'd easily take the over on 7.5. I mean, but maybe I'm wrong about Oklahoma, but I think they're better than people want to give them credit for.
Well, the problem with Oklahoma is the schedule. I mean, they do have a brutal
it is
schedule.
rough, and they're not used to that. We were actually talking to a guy from OKC the other day on the show on Monday, and he said we're still used to an old Big 8, Big 12 where there were 2 or 3 hard games and everything else was a cakewalk, and that doesn't happen anymore.
Well, I don't know how they come down to the scheduling, but my gosh, they gave Georgia, not that they needed a cakewalk, that schedule. And again, it's the SEC. I understand there's pitfalls all around, but Jay, I don't know if you've looked at Georgia's schedule. It's pretty easy for Georgia.
And I forget. I will. I have, and I know that they're open. I think they were supposed to, Greg, if I'm not mistaken, this year was supposed to be a year where they had a formerly scheduled home and home with Oklahoma prior to the SEC membership.
Yes.
And I think they had to bail on that one. So, they just couldn't get a quality replacement. I think that's what happened with Georgia last year and this year. Is otherwise, you're right. And yet, I think Georgia still has schedule strength number 20 in the country or something.
Yeah, I mean, they still have to go to Alabama and they got to go to Ole Miss. So it's not like, again, when you're SEC, it's not.
Or you're always going to have. But even the cocktail party's not. Where's the cocktail party at this year?
I think it's Orlando.
It's Atlanta.
Atlanta. Okay.
So
I know they're moving it around until they get I guess they're building yet another pool in Jacksonville or something.
But that's like that's a home game for Georgia, basically. That's in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But it's here. Ready or not, here we come. The college football season right around the corner. Jay, it's always great to hear your voice. Of course, folks, if you're never down to Columbia or just want to tune in at any time, because now you can do that on the World Wide Web. But it's the post-game show, 3 to 6 Eastern, 107.5 The Game in Columbia, South Carolina. Our good buddy, Jay Phillips. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, boys. Always great. We'll talk soon.
Take care. Folks, Frame Corner has been Memphis's go-to frame shop for a half century, helping people showcase and protect what matters most, whether it's a cherished family photo, a fine art piece, or a one-of-a-kind keepsake. They'll help you design the perfect frame. Stop by and explore Memphis's largest selection of frame moldings, mats, and glass options. Everything you need for custom framing that looks great and lasts a lifetime at Frame Corner. Frame Corner also, anything with sports. Think about all your sports memorabilia and collectibles. Football jerseys, autographed baseballs, footballs, basketball, soccer memorabilia, hockey collectibles. They can take care of that for you by putting into one of these beautiful frames. The most, again, the variety that they have is second to none. Expert framing for more than 50 years, folks. Go see Mark Young and the folks at Frame Corner. Tell them you heard it here on Sports 56. They're at the corner of Park and Mount Moriah and have been there for a long, long time. For more information, you can go to info@framecornermemphis.com. Frame your memories, preserve your legacy, enjoy them for a lifetime at Frame Corner. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Did you miss your favorite Sports 56 show? No! Check out the podcast, broken down hourly at sports56whbq.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to like and subscribe. Never miss any Sports 56 show again with our podcasts available daily from Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, I'm Ryan Saharovich, a proud partner with NST Injury Attorneys. For over 35 years, we've been fighting for Memphis families after serious accidents when insurance companies are trying to pay as little as possible. We don't back down. NST is the way to go.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, Tito's is known for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Incorporated, Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly.
In Instant Kohl's Cash is powerful. You spend $25 and earn $10 Kohl's Cash to use instantly on nearly everything store-wide. So now you're grabbing new shoes and nodding at your receipt like you negotiated the deal. Plus, Kohl's Rewards members earn 3 times rewards. Get instant Kohl's Cash this weekend at Kohl's. Offer valid July 23rd through 26th. Some exclusions apply. Coupons and Kohl's Cash do not apply to Sephora. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Hey, I've got him on the line right now. Marty McNate. Marty, I hear you got some exciting deals over there at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown.
You heard right, Randy. I got a 2026 Jetta S, 40 MPG highway estimate, $249 a month.
$249 a month for Jetta S. Hey, what else you got out there, McNate?
If you love a great deal on an SUV, you gotta love the 2026 Tiguan 2.0 TS, $269 a month.
I know I'm loving Tiguan at $269 a month. How about Atlas?
Well, out here at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, your 2026 Atlas SE is only $329 a month.
$329 a month for Atlas, so get out there, ask for Marty McNate. He'll be waiting for you at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, 7420 Winchester Road, or shop online, GossettVWG.com.
And remember, your future is what you make it.
All 36 month lease, Atlas TC 564,481, MSRP 41,911, Jetta TMO 312,217, MSRP 25,791, Tiguan TMO 43,763, MSRP 32,881, include all rebates and incentives, must be financed through Volkswagen Financial Services, PFA 95, excludes tax title and license to the Blue Grid, offering 73126, dealer stock only, MPG estimate provided by EPA.
Unlock your new go-to spot, Codes Dispensary in Steele, Missouri, just over an hour from Memphis. When you're ready for a legal, reliable option, they're right up the road. Explore the full menu of top-shelf products in-store and online. Short on time? Order ahead and cruise through the drive-thru for a quick pickup. Stack rewards while you stock up with Club Codes. Earn points for every dollar spent. Codes Dispensary, now open in Steele, Missouri. Supreme cannabis that's worth the drive. Learn more at CodesDispensary.com. That's CodesDispensary.com.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
One final note from SEC Media Day. John Summerall, the first-year head coach of the Florida Gators, the former Tulane head coach, meeting the media. I love this quote. Summerall was asked about the challenge of playing a 9-game schedule. Quote, I'm not going to whine and complain about being an SEC head football coach. I love it. Don't ask him anything about that because John Summerall is now in the big time. Yes, there'll be questions about whether or not he can get Florida back to being the Florida Gators we all know and love. How long will it take? But I think he has a great chance to get Florida back to the promised land. But I love it. Yeah, he's just happy. He's an SEC football head coach. I'm sure Alex Golesh feels the same at Auburn, and Ryan Silverfield feels the same at Arkansas.
Yeah, but talk to him in 3 years.
Well, yeah, it might be a different story then. One NBA note, no surprise here. The 2K27 cover goes to Victor Wembanyama. Again, the 2K, that's the NBA 2K27 cover. Old Victor Wembanyama. Maybe some thought Jalen Brunson deserved it after the Knicks won it all.
They'll have like 8 different covers for that game.
Are there really? There's not just one?
Because Caitlin Clark will be on a deluxe edition. They'll have another special edition.
Derrick Rose is on the, there's another, I don't know if it's an older, whatever.
But do they only have, but as far as the main regular one, they have more than one regular, right now playing, a player that's playing in the NBA?
I mean, the games normally have multiple guys on the cover. They have different editions of the game.
So why are they making such a big deal about Victor Wembanyama being on the cover? So I don't play video games.
He's probably on the general, none of the special editions. He's probably just on the regular standard version of the
That's
video
what I'm
game.
thinking. Okay. All right.
So I mentioned earlier that Bleacher Report is doing a series of rankings. They've done the 50 best dunkers. They've done the 99 best defenders. Today they're doing the 99 best shooters of all time. And then they're also apparently doing the 50 best trash talkers in NBA history.
Got a full series going on at the Bleacher Report.
So the best. So who would you consider the best defender in the history of the NBA?
Best defender in the history of the NBA.
From what I've seen personally, I would go Dream, but from what I've looked at numbers-wise in film and stories, that's Bill Russell, and it's not close.
Bill Russell is who they rank number 1. Now, granted, and the problem is like, because they didn't count blocks or anything else back then, so their stats-wise, it's a little different. But they do have Bill Russell as their number 1 defender. Their number 2 guy surprised me a little bit, like I didn't, because he never won Defensive Player of the Year, is Tim Duncan.
15-time all-defensive teams. Though.
Yeah, which is crazy that he never won a Defensive Player of the Year. He finished top 10 in the Defensive Player of the Year voting 11 times, and was 15 times all defensive, but never won a Defensive Player of the Year.
Crazy.
See, what's interesting, though, is obviously they're leaning heavy on statistics, and I don't think that stats tell the complete story about defending in the NBA, right?
I agree.
So now it's impossible to argue with Bill Russell because of the rebounding, I'm sure even blocked shots. And he wasn't the tallest guy out there all the time. And he had a lot of great players around him, but Bill Russell, the rebounding numbers are crazy. But like I would like to know is when Bill went up against Chamberlain, this is pre-Al Sindor, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there weren't too many other big guys. There was, what's his name from the old Minnesota Lakers?
They had Mikan, but Mikan was before them as well.
Yeah, so really, like, what did he do what did Chamberlain go for when he went up against Russell? Because I assume they defended each other.
It'd be like 40 and 30.
See, then I would hesitate to put him.
But that's Will Chamberlain.
I know, but I can only judge on how they guard the guys they went up against. Like, MJ's got to be high on that list. MJ was a great defender, Michael Jordan. I don't know how high he'll be, but Pippen was as well on that team. But anyway, I digress. But I know, and you agree with me, Jay Ham, that it's more than just the numbers with defense.
And again, for Russell, there are no numbers. Steals weren't counted, blocks weren't counted. There was no
rebounds.
Defensive Player of the Year. There was no all-defensive team. Like, there's nothing to go by. It's just judged on
whatever clip that they give you. You got to go by those series clips.
Probably a lot of young voters that never saw the guy and are just deferring to whatever they saw in those clips. And the championships, I bet you that also played a part. It never hurts to have those championships as well.
They point out in every one of his seasons, Boston's defensive rating was dramatically better than the league average, including in 63-64. It was 10.8 points better than average. So
stifling.
They've got Duncan 2. They've got Kevin Garnett 3. Then Akeem Olajuwon, which I think is a little low for Akeem Olajuwon. I would have probably had him 2.
I would have had him 2 probably as well, because with Dream, you could get it. He's great defending the post, and he can come out on the perimeter as a 7-footer and guard guards.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
He won 2 Defensive Player of the Years, 9-time all defensive.
What about
team.
Dikembe?
Probably number 5.
Number 5 is Ben Wallace.
Okay. 4-time Defensive Player of the Year.
Number 6 is Dikembe Mutombo.
Another 4-timer.
Number 7 is Dennis Rodman. Number 8, Scottie Pippen.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew Pippen had to be up there. But Jordan, he's
number
really
9, Rudy Gobert. Number 10, Draymond Green. Draymond Green cracks the top 10.
9 and 10 will draw some ire from a lot of people, I would think.
Yeah.
But Gobert, again, the Defensive Player of the Year awards, and, that's...
If Gobert was a better offensive player and had developed the three-point shot and all that, with the way he plays defense... how high would he be on one of those all-time lists of great players? That's Wemby. You're right. No, that is Wemby. But we're talking specifically here, Gobert, he would be, looked at as a top 20, 25 guy, top 30 guy maybe.
They'd probably give him a little bit more. People liked him more, too. A lot of that vitriol comes from just people just not liking the guy.
That helps a bit, too. No, you're right. Especially on lists. You never know what's going on. We're human beings, right?
Yeah, you go.
Voting on things.
Michael Jordan is number 15 on the list.
Yeah, I knew he had to be high.
LeBron comes in at number 22 on the list. Here's the thing that, again, with a guy like Victor Wembanyama, how do you rank him now compared to these guys?
Very good question.
They put him at number 36. In 5 years,
with a bullet,
he probably is number 1. I don't know. He's going to win theoretically the Defensive Player of the Year. If he's healthy, he's winning Defensive Player of the Year.
And I think I think it's a given he'll set the record for that, for the most Defensive Player of the Year award.
Who's got the most right now?
It's tied with Ben, Rudy Gobert and Dikembe.
Four's the number?
Yeah.
In 5 years from now, you could probably put him number 1 on the list.
Yeah.
Again, so I don't know how you try and rank him now. How they fell on 36. He's really awesome. He's
36 and 3 seasons of work.
I don't even know how you go about trying to figure somebody out like that who hasn't played in the league very long at all, but is clearly awesome, and especially at the defensive end, the clear best defensive player. So former Grizzlies or guys who have suited up for the Grizzlies who are on the list. There are 7 of them who have actually worn a Grizzlies uniform in a game.
Wait, 7, and how many is it? 100 or 50?
99.
There's 99 guys, 7 with the Grizzlies, or have worn a uniform at one time. Well, Pau Gasol's on there, right?
Oh, Mark is.
No. Pau Gasol.
I mean Marc Gasol.
Marc Gasol, yes. Marc Gasol is number 48.
Okay. TA, obviously.
Tony is number 23. Right behind LeBron James is Tony Allen.
Yeah.
Mike Conley's got to be there.
He is not.
Really?
Okay.
Some of these guys you don't think of as Grizzlies.
James Posey.
No.
Wow.
Well, certainly Jake LaRavia. No, I'm kidding.
Some had very brief stints here.
Okay.
Hang on.
Others had longer stints here.
Hang on.
But there's a pretty obvious one.
Joakim Noah.
Joakim Noah is not one of the obvious ones, but he is on the list. He's number 41.
That was good. Dylan Brooks?
I remember him being in the bubble with us.
Is Dylan Brooks on that list?
Dylan Brooks is not on the list, which I'm sure angers the hell out of him. I can't wait to see his comments on the list.
Okay. Let me think.
Goodness gracious, how quickly we forget.
Oh, Jaren Jackson Jr.?
Yes, Jaren Jackson Jr. He's number 59 on the list.
Yeah, Cam Boozer's made us forget about him pretty quickly. Cam Boozer on that list? No. So how many we got? We got 2 more that have worn a Grizzlies uniform at one point?
3.
3 more. Shane Battier?
Shane Battier, number 58. Right ahead of Jaren Jackson Jr.
So 2 more. 2 more.
One was with the team fairly recently.
Steven Adams?
No.
That was a good guess.
Former Defensive Player of the Year.
Former Defensive Player of the Year, recently with the Grizzlies. Was he a big or a guard?
Guard.
Oh, Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart, number 54.
Yeah, there you go.
Right there, just a little bit ahead of Shea Betty.
And then
the other one,
how far do we got to go
still
back?
with the organization. He's with the organization. Tayshaun Prince.
Okay.
At number 50.
Wow.
52. The former Grizzlies and the Grizzlies dominate the 50s. They had Prince at 52, Smart 54, Battier 58, Jaren at 59.
Wow. It's a good showing.
It's a good group.
Who's got the most? Do you know by any chance? What team has produced the most?
Oh, God, I have no idea.
I'll do that for homework. Give me something to do today. Because that's an interesting deal.
Yeah.
I mean, again, some of these guys spent 1 year with a team.
Right.
Yeah. And I think Marcus Smart was the first guard to win it since Gary Payton in 96. So I imagine there's not a whole lot of guards.
The one I was a little surprised by this, how low he went. Derek White was 89th on the list. I would have thought Derek White would have been higher on that list.
Absolutely.
Well, you think about the core 4. You said Mark was 48?
Mm-hmm.
And 23 for TA.
Right, and Mike not listed.
Mike not listed, which, could be an omission there that he could easily be on that list. But that's 2 guys in the top 50 all time that you had on the same team. Then you had the playmaking ability of Conley. You had the Zach Randolph, bucket maker.
That was the deepest team, too. They went to the Western Conference Finals.
You had great reserves. That was a damn good team that was
56
built.
6 wins.
Yeah.
Fun ride.
And that was Chris Wallace, right?
That was Chris Wallace. No, yeah. Well, that was Chris, actually right as they were making their change. I think that was Chris, though. That was right when they were making their change.
He gets a lot of criticism, and sometimes he should.
Because you remember that one year they went with like Jason Levy and the Stu Lash or whatever, and then
that year, yeah.
And I think that was the year. I think Chris Wallace got the Western Conference Final year.
But we got to give him credit. That team taking the chance on Zebo, it was. It was fun. We hope to get back to that
kind of activity,
because that was a great run.
Because Wallace knew Tony Allen from Boston.
Right.
He's one that made the Powell trade, all that. I mean, it was Chris Wallace. Yeah. I mean, Chet Holmgren, number 84 of this list already.
I thought he probably would have been a lot higher.
I don't know, after that finals performance.
I mean, yeah, Wemby carved him, though.
Have a sandwich, have a donut once in a while, Holmgren. Jeez Louise. I mean, his wrists are like, they're so...
Send him to Corky's, Greg. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
The other one, the one that I can't find out. I can't remember I got to find out what number he was. Alex Caruso, by the way, is on the list. Caruso's at 75.
Got to be higher, man. That dude there is a terrorist.
He has made a niche for himself and made a lot of money on that, and still can knock down that three and make a big shot. He's like a crunch time player.
Just a timely player, man. Just makes timely, great plays.
Just so strange looking.
I would have thought he might be higher too, just because the way he has like guarded some bigs. Like they've put him on bigs, they've put him on small. Like he's just done whatever.
Just greatly effective with that, man.
Who's the most versatile defensive player? Not the best defensive, can guard any position. LeBron?
Today, probably Draymond. One of them should be Draymond.
Can Dre defend a point guard?
Yeah.
Because we know LeBron can.
He slides his feet well enough to do so. IQ is well enough. That's going to change, too, because that's going to be Wemby.
Did Magic play any defense? Because he could obviously play any position.
Well,
but
he was old land. Get some steals here and there, but not really.
Right. You don't want to get his nose.
John Stockton put up like 28 and 20 on Magic in a playoff game. So in a game 7. That's it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Joe Dumars was 44th. I thought he would be higher just because the Jordan rules.
Where's Dennis Johnson? He's got to be there.
He was in the, I think.
Because if they got
he's right behind. He's at 45.
Jose, if they got Joe D, then they got to have DJ.
DJ was really good, but Dumars was real good too.
I thought Dumars would be like in the 20s just because of the Jordan rules.
And they guarded the same way. They always guarded the bigger guy. They got low, and they just moved their feet, and they had the heat behind them was perfect.
Well, I talked about that makeup of our core four here with the Grizzlies. Think about Detroit. You've already named Rodman. Of course, Sally was a pretty good defensive player, too.
Defend, yeah.
Then you had...
all of their bigs could defend.
Dumars was really... Right, he was on the list. Now, Isaiah was just the leader and the scorer and all that. And then Lambeer,
Mahorn were hacks, but they could defend.
They were hacks. You're right. They were hacks, but they were...
Lambeer's on this list.
Lambeer's on the list? That's... And you wonder... Of course, they won.
Yeah.
It makes sense why they won.
And like Eli said, the Jordan rules was a big part of that.
And even though things are a little bit different, you can't get away with murder now.
Yeah.
At least the Nasty's coming back for the Grizzlies on paper, right?
By the way, I left off one other guy who wore a Grizzlies jersey. I forgot. I skipped over him. I didn't even notice him. Eddie Jones was number 97.
Fast Eddie Jones. Okay. Eddie Jones was just a little fun fact. He was just with Penny down in Tunica over the week. They had Penny's birthday, and they had had some events down there. They played golf on Friday and Saturday, Friday and Saturday. And Eddie Jones was there. According to the folks I ran into at Riverbend Links, they said he was there. Fast Eddie Jones, like Eddie Jones. But I thought Posey could be on there too. But
Posey was a menace on defense.
Yeah,
man.
That's an interesting list.
Fleet Feet, that's the place to go to get all your running gear. You want to go see the folks at Fleet Feet at either one of their 2 locations, and they'll take care of you. They're in the Laurelwood Shopping Center in East Memphis, out in Collierville, Poplar and Houston Levy, next door to the Hueys. You go in there, they take a look at the way you run, the way you walk, and then fit you with shoes that are perfect for you based on where you need the support, where you put the weight and the different parts of your feet when you're walking or running, or hey, if you're just on your feet a lot, you want to make sure you got those shoes that are right for you to make yourself as comfortable as possible, avoid injuries, avoid any issues. They make sure of that at Fleet Feet, plus your other gear, everything else that you need. They've got you taken care of. You could get involved with their group runs and other things that they do at Fleet Feet. It's just all about the runners, the running community with the folks at Fleet Feet. Again, 2 locations to serve you. They're also online, fleetfeetmemphis.com, and on social media, keeping you up to date with what they've got going on, what is going on in the running community with races, 5Ks, other things coming up. They sponsor that. They've got their group runs and other things that you can get involved with the folks at Fleet Feet.
You're tuned into Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to download our Hub 901 app for instant access to Sports 56 and all the Flynn broadcasting stations from anywhere. Go to the App Store and get the Hub 901 app today.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. Do you know what Penny Hardaway and I have in common? We should both be in that building celebrating the best basketball players of all time. Of course, I'll have to buy a ticket to get in, but he should already be there. But seriously, we both surround ourselves with the best people we can find. We work hard to achieve our goals, and we are both among the best in our respective fields. At Fiveash, we can't win titles or get national awards, but what we can and do strive to do is give 100% of ourselves to give you the best product possible and one you can be proud of. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call at 901-367-0050, and we will do everything we can to provide you the best of everything. Fiveash Roofing. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Napa Cafe celebrates 28 years in 2026.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner. Maybe start with an appetizer like our baked sweet piquilla peppers stuffed with goat cheese and mozzarella, finish with basil pistou, and move on to one of our cozy dishes like the double chocolate stout braised boneless beef short ribs with tonkatsu sauce and creamy mashed potatoes. Or a fresh seafood dish like our pan-roasted ginger-buttered sea bass with cilantro soy vinaigrette. I get hungry just talking about it. Don't forget about dessert, our famous sweet buttermilk pie with brown sugar sauce, or drink your dessert with one of our signature dessert cocktails like the lemon cheesecake martini, lemony, icy, frothy, and dusted with graham cracker crumbs. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. We can't wait to serve you.
Come join in and celebrate 28 years of Napa Cafe in 2026.
Hey Memphis, Tyler Harrington from Memphis Baseball. When you need a financial teammate who's got your back, choose Southern Security Credit Union. From great rates to friendly local service, they deliver every time. Visit southernsecurity.org or call 901-452-7900 to join today. Southern Security Credit Union, your home team credit union, is a proud supporter of Memphis Athletics and 901 Women and is federally insured by the NCUA.
Hey, I've got Jason, the main man Marshall, on the line from Gossett Hyundai on the Pike. What's up, my man Jason?
What's up, Randy? It's the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event, and we've got deals you won't believe. 2026 Hyundai Elantra SE, $316.01 a month. 2026 Hyundai Sonata SE, only $343.86 a month, plus 0.99 for 60 months and 1.99 for 72 months available. 2026 Hyundai Tucson SE, only $349.61 a month at 1.9 for up to 72 months or 0% for 60 months available.
And every Gossett Hyundai comes with America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty and the owner assurance.
Come see me, the main man Marshall, where we're charging forward and charging less every day at Gossett Hyundai. 1956 Kona Pike, or visit online at HyundaiGossett.com 24/7.
All 36-month lease Sonata TA 582 through 47, MSRP 38,935. Tucson TA 743,800, MSRP 31,350. Elantra TU 165,979, MSRP 25,060. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895. Excludes tax title and license for approved credit. See for complete details. Offer valid through the month. Dealers only.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Good morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
The 2K27, it's Wembanyama on the regular, Caitlin Clark is on the deluxe, and Derrick Rose is the ultra. I don't know what the difference is in all those things, but those are the three versions of the game.
Yeah, so I figured there was just one guy that's current.
One will be,
and it was Wemby.
One will be $69.99. The other one will be $89.99. The other one will be $109.99.
What does the other ones add? Like
they have extra attributes and stuff that, just extra stuff in the game.
Oh, within the actual game itself.
Yes.
Like, okay, they don't throw any extra stuff in the
game.
Case.
Gaming costs too much these days.
Man, oh man. Well,
ultra. I mean, you just feel like you should go the ultra. If I'm going to buy, I got to buy the ultra.
Because like WWE will have like 7 different versions of that with different covers for everybody. And it's like, okay, this version, and they're all the same game with just different stuff.
Look, I understand marketing. I understand companies trying to make the most profit they can. But I'll tell you, I started to get disenchanted with everything when they started to go with the caps of the baseball teams with the different colors. that were had nothing to do with, like when the Yankees, like dudes are walking around with pink
With
Yankees
cream
caps. Yes,
Yankee caps.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Give me the original colors. That's it. You might have like 2 different colors. Go with that back and forth. But my gosh,
The rest of it is just a racket.
yeah,
I
it's
swear.
a rack. Yeah, it's make as because people will buy them. Make as much money as they can. So I was today's years old when I realized that the Kansas City Chiefs are getting a new football stadium. Did you guys know that?
They're moving to Kansas.
Oh, that's right. That's right. They're moving to Kansas. Okay. I completely forgot there for a second. Here's the renderings were just released. They're hoping that the stadium will be ready to go for 2031. But like when I saw that, I forgot about the whole Kansas thing. But I was thinking about it because we had some of the World Cup at Arrowhead Stadium. And that stadium is held up as well as any stadium there is in the National Football League. It's incredible how nice that stadium and the Royal Stadium, which was Kauffman Stadium, right? For a while.
Yeah.
That whole complex. So the Chiefs are going to Kansas and the Royals are staying right there? And they're going to knock down that stadium? Or are they going to even knock it down?
I think I'm not sure what the Royals are doing. That Ultra Edition cost $150.
Well, you're not buying any of them.
$150 for a video game?
Yeah, that's what I said. Gaming is way too rich for my blood. I stopped a long time ago.
Supply and demand. If people are going to buy, they're going to pay that type of money. They're going to keep adding stuff and making it more expensive.
And where they get them at also is that when your player upgrades, when he gets better and he progresses,
You have to buy stuff within the game.
Buy stuff for that too.
That's what everybody got mad about that.
With EA about that with the college football.
Yeah, the college football, the microtransactions. I had no idea what a microtransaction was, and then I started reading about that. That was what they were upset about. Is there were so many things, and now they apparently have changed that.
Yeah, EA dialed that back, and it's just going.
See, that's why I retired after Pong. I was the Pong champion of the world, and I retired from
the
gaming.
regular edition is only $70. Dude, what? Barring the actual players coming to my house and playing with me, why would I get the Ultra Edition for more than twice the money?
You weren't getting any edition. So.
I couldn't even answer that one for you because I wouldn't even get the 79 version because I don't game anymore.
My gosh,
it's too crazy.
All right, so we'll end it on this story. A guy by the name of Joshua Kuroda Grauer. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. Oakland A's infielder Joshua Kuroda Grauer, who started at Rutgers for 3 years between 22 and 24, suffered a ruptured testicle caused by a foul ball on Monday night, but still managed to hit a single in the at-bat. The Oakland A's infielder was resting comfortably a day after fouling a ball into his groin in the 5th inning of their 5-2 win over the Diamondbacks on Monday night. He fell to the ground in pain, but stayed in the game, managed to hit a single before being replaced at third base by Donovan Walton in the 6th.
The Royals, by the way, are getting a new stadium. They're staying in Missouri, though. They're going to, they're building in the Crown Center neighborhood.
Really? So they're getting a new stadium.
Theirs opens in 2030.
Chiefs are getting one, but they're moving to Kansas, so that whole thing is done. That whole nice little complex that they had. But I think we all squirmed a little bit in our seats here with that story to wrap things up. Folks, take your basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis, a revolutionary basketball training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with gamification and provides instant objective feedback with hands-on, one-on-one expert coaching. Where are you getting your shots up this summer? Are you going outside in this heat and trying to play on the blacktop? Are you trying to go outside to actually play basketball? Why not heading indoors to one of the 2 locations of Shoot 360 Memphis, in Collierville at 85 Market Street, or in Cordova, Big Orange Road. Both facilities have the shooting bays with the Shoot 360 technology where you can get your shots up, get the instant analytical feedback, and have the one-on-one expert coaching that you need. That two-pronged approach will help you become a better shooter and thusly a better all-around basketball player. You can call them in Collierville at 901-316-5500. They also have volleyball facilities there as well. In Cordova, that's the big 50,000 square foot facility. 901-779-3176. And one of the best parts about everything is that you can join on a monthly basis. So you're not bogged down with some long-term annual or multi-annual contract. You can take it month to month at Shoot 360 Memphis. The future of basketball training is here at Shoot 360 Memphis. That's going to do it for us today. I want to thank Brett Norsworthy, Lawrence Dockery, and Jay Phillips for joining us on the program. Tomorrow, our final day in Tampa. Brett Norsworthy will join us at 7:25 to wrap up SEC Media Days. We'll talk Major League Baseball with Kerry Miller. The trade deadline is on the horizon. And Frank Bonner at 9:05. We'll talk some Tigers football and maybe even a little Tigers basketball with Frank when he joins us at 9:05. Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next. For Eli Savoy and for Jay Ham, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great Wednesday, everybody.